Well, Mike, Dale Earnhardt is the winningest driver in Daytona International Speedway history. He was the last car to leave the garage to go out for morning practice. He is making what he hopes to be his second Daytona 500 victory charge this week here in Speedweeks, which is his 23rd Speedweeks here in Daytona. He is the most prolific restrictor plate driver in NASCAR history. 11 wins and 52 starts. Now, many people figured he'd bring that potent Talladega winner from last fall to Daytona. That's actually the team's third backup car in a trailer out in the infield. He's racing a brand new mount, one with some questions. It was the 33rd fastest car during winter testing, stacking the odds even greater against Earnhardt picking up that win here in Daytona. There have been 4 straight different restrictor plate winners. He hopes to break that streak later this week.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway and practice for the Daytona 500. You'll see qualifying live on Fox tomorrow, the Daytona 500 live on Fox, and lots of programming for you on Fox Sports Net and FX all through Speedweeks and the first half of this NASCAR season. The Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt, out for a practice run. Most drivers taking 2, maybe 3 laps, coming back in the garage for adjustments. We talked with some of the drivers who are here in the Winston Cup ranks about the pressures of racing at Daytona.
3 hours of just putting your head between a pair of vice grips and squeezing as hard as you can, because every move you make has to be made with I mean, just so little margin for error.
You can have about 40 of your friends over at your house. You can turn the heat on wide open, and they all can stand in the room together and breathe over everybody and talk and just bump into people or whatever, and see how aggravated it gets after 3.5 hours of doing that.
It's like trying to get to the most important meeting of your life, and you're in rush hour traffic all the time, and you're trying to get around and through traffic. Getting to victory lane is like getting to that meeting on time and then having a successful meeting.
That's exactly what it's like. I tell you, the whole thing about it is they're doing a great job of explaining kind of to the fan what it feels like or what it would feel like to the fan, but it's exactly like driving down the interstate, just like Dale said, and you're trying to get somewhere and there ain't no way to get there.
And from a crew chief perspective, getting ready for this race, if you could imagine for the fan at home, if you just maybe worked a solid year without an off day,
yeah,
that would probably be like what getting ready for this Daytona 500. And you know, so much focus over the winter is put on the 2 laps that they're getting ready to run tomorrow for qualifying. It's like the whole energy is put towards that.
Well, one thing that all of these teams want out of this 2-hour practice is a trouble-free run. It's already gone the wrong way for Terry Labonte. Matt Yoakum?
Well, Steve, we spoke earlier in the show about how the 3-car of Dale Earnhardt in winter testing only turned in the 33rd fastest time. They massaged the car, didn't cut up the body too much when they returned to the shop after the test session, but when they returned to Daytona, they really expected times to be a little better this morning in the morning session. Now, what did they do for the second session? Nothing. They cooled down the engine, taped up the grill. They're going to give it a mock qualifying run and see what time they can turn in. Now, just how are the guys handling the pressure of not cracking the top 25 so far? Well, they're smiling, talking. Ron Otto over there talking about the quarter panel. Very calm, very casual atmosphere at this juncture in the 3 garage. And how many times have we seen Dale Earnhardt struggle in practice, but yet come out with a great qualifying lap, possibly even winning the pole? Let's go to Jeannie.
As you can get when you spend 38 weekends on the road. We are in Motor Coach City. This is where the drivers live during the race. You'll notice the motorhome, all the comforts of home. I mean, very comfortable leather chairs, VCR, DVD players, great bedroom, bathroom, everything that you could want at home. And the best part is most of the families will stay right in here so they don't have to go to a hotel. So when the drivers are not on the track or they're not in the garage, they can spend as much time as possible with their families. There's even playgrounds for most of the children at most of the tracks, daycare centers, and this can all be yours pretty much for just over $500,000, or if you're as lucky as I am. I just kind of wandered into this one. It was open. I just have to get that big DW scratched off the side, and it'll be mine.
Jeannie, the fellow who owns that coach is standing next to me. He's got the keys in his pocket. What'd you break to get in there?
I don't know. Possession is 9/10 of the law, and I'm here. And can I have an apple, please?
Yes, you may have.
Thank you.
You may have an apple. And by the way, I was sitting here watching this. I said, you know, all these coaches must look the same because that looks exactly like mine.
Yeah, you need some security, sir.
Thank you very much. Smitty's not doing a very good job, or Van won. I'm not sure who, but make yourself at home. There's
Thank
plenty
you,
of there's
watch
drinks
some
in the
Fox.
refrigerator, and yeah, we got Fox right there on the screen. David Hill will be along later on. He'll visit with you too.
DW, I think she's already made herself at home. Looks
I
like
think
to
so.
me.
Moved right in.
Well, from the penthouse, let's go across town and pick up the action with Dick Bergman.
The man who races in wingtip shoes in a little less than a month will celebrate his 60th birthday. Dave Marcus trying to qualify for the Daytona 500 for the 33rd time. What brings you back here year after year after year?
I guess just the love of the sport. I mean, I really enjoy racing. It's been my whole life, and I just love it. We're back here again.
Tell me about your chances to make the show. You got a good motor, got a good car. What's the story?
Well, we have a Richard Childress engine. We have a body on the car that they helped with over at the Richard Childress shops. It's a Laughlin chassis. We did well here in practice, so we're pretty enthused about it. This morning's practice, I think we ended up about 21st or 22nd overall, and this afternoon, you know, we're doing like everyone, looking for more, changing gears and just trying all those little things, different jets in the carburetor, and trying to get a couple more tenths.
And I'll guarantee you that when this guy makes the field for the Daytona 500, every face in this garage has a smile on it.
Yep.
Mike?
And he talked about it being a Richard Childress car. They actually had that car in the wind tunnel this winter, which was the first time Dave's had a car in a wind tunnel in years. And when you know your Speedweeks is getting started bad, when they unloaded this car yesterday, his backup car had come loose and basically beat the whole nose off of it. So all of Richard Childress guys jumped in, helped him get the nose fixed to get through inspection.
Well, what you're looking at right there, folks, is about 30-odd years of experience. That man has got some experience, and he shares it with everybody in the garage. He drives the IROC cars. He does set up for the guys on the IROC cars, and he's a great driver and a great test driver, and he puts a lot of effort into it. I hope he makes the field.
And he often tests this car for Childress.
You got
Marcus is 25th fastest on the chart and holds the record with 32 consecutive Daytona 500 starts before missing the show last year. We'll be back to Daytona right after this.
Let me tell you something. I've watched these two cats right here, senior and junior. Every time they go out, they get in each other's way. Now, is that by design? I don't think so, but it just seems to be happening that way. And I know one of them's getting a little ticked.
Well, the one that's going to be ticked is Dale Earnhardt Jr. because his last lap, you can throw it away. It's no good. Now, I think Dale Sr. and the 3 cars just getting started on his run, so it didn't affect him near as much. But, hey, Darrell, we're down to about 5 minutes. It's like chaos out there now. They're basically in 6, 7 car drafts out there. You're not learning anything right now.
No, they're not really. I think they're just running their cars now. They get the oil hot or something.
Dale Jr. is 10th fastest, and Earnhardt has climbed from 33rd now to 17th quickest on the chart.
He did that with Dale Jr.'s help. Dale Jr. didn't mean to help him. He just got some help. Here's Earnhardt out. We'll see where he ends up, because he was pretty slow earlier today. He's got it taped up solid. I don't necessarily agree with the attitude of the car, but I mean, he knows more about that than I do. You know, he can see the wind.
But you know, you think back to about 10 or 15 minutes ago when practice got going. Remember seeing Ward Burton's car, how close that Valent was to the ground, and Dale's not quite down there.
No, and he only ran 179 miles an hour, and I got to think that's a pretty good mock qualifying run right there. So they'll probably change engines in that bad boy, wouldn't you think?
I would think so, but as we're looking at the car right there, you see there is no grill opening, and we have heard this all winter long. You tape the grill up solid, you run faster down the straightaway. But because of that roof fin, the one on top of the car, we're hearing that that's messing with the air a little bit. You know, low drag is about air staying attached to the car. And what
that just a little wee bit more. When you turn that pressure down, we'll race with 80, 90 pounds of oil pressure, but you turn it down because you don't want that oil spraying around inside the engine. It's another one of those issues about drag inside the engine, turbulence in the engine. Less oil pressure, less turbulence, and so the engine performs a skosh better.
Now, you saw Dale Earnhardt looking at the computer. All the teams are tied into NASCAR's scoring system. to look at how everyone has run. The one car that's not on there right now is the number 4. Team says they ran a 49.5 seconds, which would be right now the 4th fastest time of the day.
Those computers in the garage area are the worst thing that ever happened. You spend your whole day staring at it, and it can be so demoralizing. You can be so happy with your car. Oh, my car's driving great. It's handling good. I'm ready to race. Yeah, but you're dead last. And so the team wants to keep working on the car to get more speed out of the car to move up on that silly chart right there.
Well, now Earnhardt's got a vested interest because the second line of that chart is a car he owns, driven by his son, and the 6th line is Steve Park, which is also a car that Earnhardt owns. And his own car is a little further down there in 12th.
And you can believe one thing. All those cars are going to run well. They're all going to be at the front of the field come Sunday. And who's going to benefit from that the most? The boss.
Right.
The one with the mustache, not the one with all the hair all over their face.
Right. Let's get out of Jeff.
Well, guys, we keep talking about oil pressure. Just so you know, this is the oil pump right now for a stock car motor. As you can see, this belt, which goes around the pump and the crankshaft, is what makes the oil pressure inside the engine. Oil comes in here, is pushed through the pump and in the engine. It's also returned through these oil lines right here. What has gone on is somewhere internally, either the cam or the distributor has broken, which also has a way of influencing what's going on with this oil pump. And therefore, there's no oil pressure going into the engine. Therefore, this is not good for the guys at Richard Childress and Mike Skinner. Dick, what's going on down there?
Well, let's go with the man that's won more races here at Daytona than anybody else, Dale Earnhardt. How is your car?
Winning more races doesn't mean anything now. Pretty good. We're a little faster this morning. We put our qualifying engine in, did a few things in the setup, and tweaked on the car a little. So we're in the hunt now. We're, you know, in the top 15 and where we was in the top 30. So, you know, we feel pretty good about it. I'm going to go out here and run this Budweiser shootout car and see how it feels, but we're ready to qualify. We're going to tweak and put some oil in it and do some things for qualifying and be ready to qualify.
Okay, go get him. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Any tips on Junior?
Well, talking to his driver.
We back again? Yeah, Dale wants to say some more. Go ahead.
Well, I want to know, do y'all know why Dale Jr.'s running so fast? He ain't telling me.
I know why. I know why.
Darrell says he knows why.
He's holding it.
Won't tell me either.
Yeah, he's holding it wide open, and you ain't.
Oh dear, I'm not going to tell Earnhardt that.
Chicken.
Yeah, he says Junior's holding it wide open, and you're not.
Oh yeah. Get in the car, Darrell. Ride with me. Let's see.
He had such a great time running in the 24-hour race. He said coming out of that bus stop chicane and down through the tri-oval at 175 in the pouring rain, he told Larry Nye that's about the most fun he'd ever had in a race car.
He definitely, he had a lot of bounce in his step, and I'm sure he did it to have fun, but he felt like he'd gotten a little bit behind maybe on his road racing, maybe could pick up something. And you see these guys, they made one run here. They're pretty much done. They're getting this race car ready to qualify.
2 days, that's pretty limp right now.
But you know, Darrell, one of the key things is what we see right here. That's that humidity.
Oh, yeah.
That means a lot to how you tune these motors. You know, temperature means a little bit. You can't do nothing about the forecast. You would hope for a cloud cover to cool the racetrack down, but engine guys are looking at that humidity. That tells them just how to tune that motor.
It does. It's very critical on these restrictor plate motors.
The 1996 pole sitter for the 500. 7-time Winston Cup champion Dale Earnhardt, who won the 500 in 1998 after 20 years of trying and coming as close as a mile from victory. Finally got the big one.
Yeah, I had him for a long time, man. I thought I was going to have something on him, but he finally won.
Practiced at 49.730 seconds. He was 15th fastest in practice.
Folks, something we'll watch too is this gap right under here, under the air dam. That is tells you if that car is getting the front end down, the closer to the ground that gets, the closer to the track that gets, theoretically, the faster that car is going to run. And quite honestly, Dale's car doesn't look all that good. It's coming, the front's coming up a little high right here off the corner. That's where you get that aero push that we talk about. So he might have a little work to do there. We'll see how he runs.
Now the first lap will in almost all cases be slower. 50.106, excuse me here, for Earnhardt, 179.6 miles per hour, 50.106.
for the most part, these guys, again, they're getting that momentum built up. They'll pick up anywhere. We'll see some cars pick up as little as 1 or 2 tenths. Darrell, if they run that high line on their first lap, they may pick up as much as a half a second.
Well, we've seen that here in the past with the old aero package. Cars seem to really gain a lot of momentum on that second lap, but because of the having opened the grill up a little bit to make the car perform, all the drag the car has because of the aero package, I'm surprised to see guys gain much. 2 tenths has been the norm all through practice.
Earnhardt coming to the stripe to complete his run. Already he's fastest of the 3 cars that have been on the speedway. .808. That is a tenth off of what he practiced, but 180.694 is the fastest speed thus far. Let's talk to the fastest man so far, Jeannie.
Yes, the fastest man so far, Dale Earnhardt. Do you like the conditions out there on the track?
It's a little hotter than what it was this morning. A little bit slower than what we, ran a qualifying run this morning, but a lot of cars were on the track. The wind may be a little stronger right now, so a lot of elements probably got into it.
I was watching them work on some of your aero packages before you even came out here. What changes were you making?
Trying to get over this temperature, really, and to just go faster. Anything you can do, just the smallest amount of thing you can do here makes a difference. I think this wind coming down the front straightaway hurt us.
Berger, what's going on with the 3 car? Little oil leak. What they're doing right now, Larry, is they're underneath with rags and so forth. They're trying to clean out the bottom of the car, a few drips of oil underneath it. They're also working underneath the engine area. Danny Lawrence, the chief engine builder, is there. They think they maybe just had an oil line that was a little bit loose. Dale has not had any time really to speak of on the racetrack as a result. He and Dale Jarrett are the only 2 cars in the garage right now.
Gordon messed me up. I couldn't hear you. What you say?
What did you see with your 500 car? Did you like what you saw on the racetrack compared to your shootout car, which you finished second in?
I don't know. Is Darrell working today?
Well, theoretically, yes.
He said something about my open face helmet in the race yesterday. I didn't like that.
Well, I could set up a meeting maybe. Do you want to talk to him?
As many years as he's been watching races.
Time out. Hang on a second. Okay. Now go ahead and you can talk to Darrell.
Yeah, Darrell.
First, don't go there yet.
Wait a minute.
Don't you think you might have made you move a little early yesterday, bud?
Well, Darrell, it's the only move I had. It's sort of like when you see it, you got to do it, and that's all I had. And it may have been a little too soon, and I know it was too soon. Matter of fact, and I knew it was wrong when I was doing it, but it was the only opportunity I had, so I had to go for it, man. And the helmet deal, you shouldn't be talking about the helmet deal. It's the safest helmet in Winston Cup racing today.
Well, but listen, you got to understand something. All I hear is, Earnhardt, he can see the wind. Now, you're a smart man. Ain't nobody can see the wind.
If it's blowing in your face, you can't.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So maybe it's him. I slipped in there yesterday, and you wasn't around. I looked through the goggles. There ain't nothing trick about them.
No, they're just clear.
I slipped the helmet on. I don't feel nothing unusual there, so it's got to be.
Will you put my helmet on?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why my head's itching. Hey, show my logos here. Help my sponsors out a little bit. Come on.
Let's see. Yeah, Good Wrench, Good Wrench, Good Wrench. Okay.
I got you, and I got like Hershey.
Why do you keep wearing that Earnhardt hat?
Well, I lost my Good Wrench hat, man.
I haven't seen you wear that hat until this year. Now, what's the deal?
Hey, you two, wait a minute.
It's an old hat.
Dale. This is your other nightmare.
Yeah, Larry.
On a serious note,
I won a Daytona 500 with you, buddy.
You got it, buddy.
Helmet.
Yeah, I'm still mad at him for that.
Open face helmet and that seat you got in that thing. We won the Daytona 500.
Yeah, we did.
On a serious note, this first time at Daytona in race conditions with the aero package. What are you seeing different from what we've had here before?
I like it, and honestly, the cars do drive, I think, as good as they did before, but it does lend that to drafting back up and keeping the cars side by side. I think it's a better race. I seem to think the high line is after the tires go off about 20, 30 laps, I think the high line is the way to go. So, I can't wear this hat, guys. That's something my sponsor.
Was you surprised cars got as ill handling yesterday as they did?
Well, my car didn't get ill handling. Let's rephrase that. My tires had gone off on the left side. I had 70 laps on tires. The right sides were a little, older than the guys that came out with 4 tires there at the end. So really, I was really going good chassis-wise, just the tires just hot and wore out versus what they had. I was guiding it pretty good in the wind. I thought I was flying that race car pretty good through the corners. I mean, if you guys couldn't see that, I mean, you know, I was doing a pretty good job, even as old as I was.
You were dragging around. You were lifting. We had a camera in there. We saw you lift.
No, you didn't have a camera in my car.
Well, we saw you lift.
You riding with me, Darrell. I told you, get ride with me.
Nope. I didn't even like being beside you.
Look here, I got to go. My car's ready, and I got to go back out and practice it. Change some little springs here. Trying a little something here.
All right,
really fast. Larry gave me a little tip last night.
We'll call you later.
All right.
All right. The 98 Daytona 500 winner. 7-time Winston Cup champion, and verbally jousting a match for our own DW.
I tell you something, it makes me nervous when he'll discuss things like that with me.
Now here's the helmet that we're talking about. Most of the drivers now run a full face helmet with a full chin bar, pioneered in Winston Cup by Jeff Bodine. He brought it with him from the modified division. IndyCar drivers have had him since Dan Gurney first tried it in '68. But Earnhardt is one of a few that prefers the open face helmet.
Well, there's pros and cons. Dale is convinced that the chin guard down around the bottom of your chin there, the bottom part of the closed face helmet, can actually act as a ratchet and actually can cause your helmet to be pushed up. But I'm not so sure that I wouldn't rather have that happen than to have my face bare like his is. Maybe that's why he looks the way he does. He's been wearing that old open face helmet. The heat's got to him or something.
Well, in the arguments him and I had about it, he just always said, Darrell, I just can't see. But one thing you see he does have right here, that's a headrest. And what that does, especially at any racetrack, if you do get hit, it gives your head support. You know, what you want is as much of a cocoon around your head as you can, and that just gives that little extra support.
Here's another difference between Earnhardt and a lot of drivers. Look at the plane of Earnhardt's eyes as he sits in the car. Look at how close that is to the windowsill on the door. He sits lower in the car than anybody.
Well, one other thing real quickly. When you got a full face helmet on, you can't see anything down in here. It's all blocked out. You can't see anything. Plus your peripheral vision is somewhat restricted with a full face helmet. So he's not wrong.
Nope.
He likes that open face helmet and those old bubble goggles that we've been wearing for 30 years. That's what he likes, and I can't argue with him. But I did have to finally convince him to wear gloves, and he did come around to that way of thinking anyway.
Wait a minute, I worked with him a year and a half. He ain't never wrong.
Jeannie?
Well, Matt, the 3-car worked so hard on the aero package. The tolerance is a little too close. That's why we saw Dale Earnhardt make his way into the garage. They were working on that fender, and the left front tire there was rubbing a little bit. The other thing they're working on as well is fuel, as you just mentioned, Matt. They actually pumped some fuel out. What they're going to do now is try to see how far they can go on it, but he's on his way back in, so we'll check in with him and see what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of teams now realize that they'll go out there, they'll put 5 gallons of gas in the car. That's all they got in the tank, and they'll run that 5-gallon out so they can get a good reading on their gas mileage and be sure they can pick up every ounce of fuel in that fuel cell.
And with this plate, this motor combination, these things are getting about 5 3/4 miles to the gallon.
Jeannie?
Well, I just told you that the number 3 car was going back out on the track trying to run out of gas, get it all out of the motor, and you're back already, so just one lap. You done for the day?
Yeah, we are. We ran the car out of gas to see how much our fuel cell would hold. It gives us an idea of the gas mileage for the race on Thursday. So, you know, Darrell's familiar with all that. That's basically what we did. We did that with a practice engine. Now we're going to put a race motor in. We do a little practicing tomorrow with a race motor, get a plug check. But, you know, Darrell, guys up there in the booth, we got it pretty good down here in the garage area. You see our guys down here.
Hey, Jeannie.
Also, we need a raise, too.
Jeannie, tell him Larry
This is my new agent, by the way. But yes, Larry, go ahead.
Tell him Larry wants to know how much fuel the fuel cell held.
Larry wants to know how much fuel the fuel cell holds. I guess you should give him the official line here first.
What do you want to know, Larry?
I want to know how much fuel you held there.
I can't hardly hear you.
How much fuel did your fuel cell hold?
I can't tell you, Larry.
Now, why can't you? We're supposed to be buddies.
Then you would tell somebody else, and then you would tell NASCAR, and then they'd be on me. Actually, with all the new NASCAR rules, just a little over 22. They killed us about 1.5 gallons or better than what we were getting in it. So you know what we were getting. So about 1.5 gallons is what they took away from us.
Are you listening to some of these rumors about the wind tunnel results that are circulating around, and that maybe there's one car maker out here that has an advantage over others?
Well, that's what you're saying, and you know, they were in practice. It looked sort of fishy that they didn't run that well until qualifying, and So they may be sandbagging until Sunday, so we have to wait till Sunday and see what happens. I don't think NASCAR is going to change anything this short notice, but, you know, that's good that they're looking. They want to analyze things and see how things look, and maybe they'll do it again after the 500 and give us a better idea of what's going on. But I was really surprised because the Ford and the Dodge's templates are so much closer to the same that I would have thought they'd have been closer together to where they were.
Thanks for the plug for the pay raise. I'll let you know how that goes. You have a great rest of the day.
Appreciate it. We're having more fun down in the garage area, guys, since y'all aren't here.
Matt?
Hundredths off of that was Ricky Craven. And there's about $45,000 being picked up on the hook.
And when you talk about engines at Daytona Speedweeks, teams will bring 10 or 12 motors down here. They'll bring qualifying motors. They'll bring practice motor, which I'm sure just come out of Earnhardt's car. Then they'll actually have the race motor. Now, the difference in them, for the most part, they're all the same components. They're the same cubic inches they have to be, but qualifying motors will have lighter parts. The less rotating weight you can have, the faster those motors will run, the more power they'll make. Now, a lot of teams will put their qualifiers back in tomorrow for the 125s. The teams that only can really afford to take that chance and do that is teams that safely in the 500. Teams that have to race their way in, they got to go more with a race combination, which is just a little more conservative package.
Which is unfortunate because the guys that need the qualifying motors can't take a chance on running them.
I'm told that on a qualifying engine crankshaft, instead of those big beefy bearings that you find at the parts counter at your Chevrolet dealer, that they have thinned down the journals on the crankshaft to where they're running little bearings no bigger than you'd find on a Honda Accord to reduce drag.
Well, and this was the big thing that went on last year, especially with the Penske engines. And there was this big deal back at Sonoma in June where they tore the engine apart right out in front of everybody. And I think, you know, NASCAR's very careful before they make rules. They make sure how much it affects people, what the cost is going to be. But I think they got concerned how much money was being spent on qualifying motors, so they wanted to look at what was going on there.
Well, in the 21st century, there's an incredible amount of technology. And if you stay with the same rule package over a period of time, these mechanics, these owners, the engineers, the manufacturers will all figure out how to maximize every ounce of power you can get out of an engine with restrictor plate on it.
So the rules have to evolve as the technology evolves.
That's right, or else they'll just go back out of sight again. We'll be up to 210 mile an hour again.
They're about to see something wild unfold. Kenny Schrader leads them down, green flag. Ted Musgrave goes to pit road rather than coming down toward turn one with the field. We're racing. Here we go.
There's your post. Consider Kenny Schrader stuck in the middle. They're going by the high. They're going by the low side. He's pretty much going to end up about 17th before this is over with.
And just remember, that's what can happen to you when you start up front. You can end up in last place in one lap. Even if there were 40 cars out there, they'd be going by that much faster.
Now they're doing it to Jarrett. He's kind of like a hot dog getting squeezed right through that bun, right to the back if he can't get back in line.
Looking inside of Ricky Rudd's car, and it looks like a nice calm ride, but trust me, folks, there's a storm going on out there outside of that car.
If you listen, even through the corner, the RPMs almost never change. They may lose about 100 RPMs in the corner because they're flat on the mat all the way around this place, and they will be for 70 laps.
That's what the crew chief always asks. How much are you losing in a turn? I say, if you want to know that, you get in here and watch the gauge. I ain't got time.
Jarrett went back to 14th place before he got in line. Now it's Steve Park, who went from 5th to 1st in car number 1. Now he's getting the squeeze.
3 wide there. They can do that early on. They got fresh tires. Everybody's car's handling really well right at this point.
Park swung out and almost up into Schrader.
Those subtle moves turned out to be, they'll turn out to be very violent when they happen up in the traffic like that.
In for a second stop, the Ginny Donlevy car, number 90.
He seems to have a vibration. He keeps coming in and changing tires.
Here's Jarrett storming back toward the front. Not much luck there. Mayfield there with Bobby Labonte.
Darrell, you said a minute ago that, hey, if crew chief wanted to know something, to get in with you. Remember that one time down at Talladega you told me that, and I got in with you?
Yeah, and we went 210 miles an hour. And that's when I knew that you were not all right. You were a sick little man.
Hey, working for you kind of rubbed off. You know what I'm saying?
He rode with you at Talladega?
At Talladega, they had all these gauges in the car, and they wanted to know what they... I said, I can't look at all those gauges. So he got back in the back seat and rode. And I had to go fast to make it all work.
Of course, folks, there is no back seat. There's just a bunch of tin work and roll bars back there.
Saw a little steam come up out, a little puff of water come up out of one of those cars on the outside there. They go to run these cars just a little differently, and they might run them in the 500. They got them taped up. They're going to run them just about like they qualified.
Earnhardt loses the lead to Mark Martin. Jeff Gordon on the low side with Martin and Bobby Labonte. Mayfield. Ho-ho!
He just wanted him to know he was there. It's just a little friendly tap.
Jeff Gordon came from second on the inside to the lead. He's bringing Labonte and Mayfield with him. And the Earnhardts are hooked up on the outside.
Gordon dropped down to get Labonte to help him come up behind him so they could pass Earnhardt. Earnhardt is really hard to pass when he gets in front. They want to shake him out of the draft if they can, get him back in the field.
You're riding with Mark Martin. Coming right up the middle. But only so far. Gordon just slid up the racetrack a little to hold him.
Look at that, 3 by 3 by 3 by 3. And they'll all tell you can't do that. They'll all stand on the sideline and say, you can't run 3 wide here.
So Tony Stewart get just a little loose there, but he's the one that's pushing Mark Martin up there. And Mark may have been struggling in qualifying mode here, but he's done what he does best. He's got that car driving good and racing good.
And the guys on the inside, the guys down here and the guys out here, they're pretty comfortable. Those guys in the middle, they could let off the throttle and they can't get out of that spot. They are hung up in there and can't get out.
Folks, you got to remember, they are doing 190 miles an hour closer together than you park at the shopping mall.
There's a lot of hand signaling going on right now. I can tell you that. Everybody's saying, come on, get behind me. No, get behind. They're moving all over the place. You're just trying to find some place where you can move.
Well, Jeff Gordon at the point has had the 2 Earnhardts right behind him, but Bobby Labonte brings his teammate, Tony Stewart, in that orange number 20, right up to the front on the inside.
Let me tell you, Dale Earnhardt has no intention of running any further back than he is right now. He knows if he can stay up in the front, he can win this race. He gets back in the pack, he get beat up, get pushed around, you don't have a chance.
How about Schrader? In 36, started on the pole, got kicked to the total back of the field. How did he get back to third?
Well, how did any of them get back up there?
You heard Jeff Gordon say, and that's what this new aero package will do. You can go to the front. You get out front. Then you go to the back. Then you go back to the front. It's all about, it's a chess game, and you try to figure out, how am I going to end up in the front on lap number 69?
Schrader has won this race twice, but not in the past 11 years.
Earnhardt is wearing the rear bumper paint off of that 24 car.
Oh, they're drafting all right, Larry. They're bump drafting, baby. And you can do that down the straightaway, but, you know, you don't want to try that in the turns.
You don't want to be in yaw or turn.
No, you don't want to have that wheel turn one way or another and get bumped.
Earnhardt Jr. stayed right in Dad's shadow, right up close there on the outside, in second and third in the outside lane. overall positions are meaningless because it's 2 by 2 all the way back through.
Well, the guy sitting in the back, you take Jarrett, Bill Elliott, doesn't come as a surprise to me that they'd be back there kind of watching all this.
Well, Mark Martin got way up high coming off turn 2.
That will increase. Those cars will continue to push up more and more. It's all arrow. You don't get the good grip after you run a while off of the corners.
Here go the Earnhardts.
This is everybody else's worst nightmare. These two guys get hooked up out front. I'm telling you, it's going to be trouble.
Now, is Dale Sr., is he going to leave Son hung out to dry there? If he gets a chance, do you think he'll drive down in front of Jeff Gordon, or will he stay right there, Darrell?
Right now, he'll work with his son. I wouldn't count on that all day, though.
Now, Gordon's closest teammate is Terry Labonte, who is well back on the outside lane, 4th in line.
Terry Labonte will lay back there at the back, watch all this action. Very conservative driver, takes his time, patient. When it comes time to go, he'll be up there.
There are the Gibbs cars, 18 and 20, Labonte and Stewart. Now, Earnhardt and his son are technically not teammates. Richard Childress owns the number 3, but Earnhardt owns his son car, and blood is thicker than mud.
I was going to say, you'd think it'd be a little thicker than whether their teammates or not.
Oh, goodbye, Gordon. He's cat caught in the middle.
He's in the middle. See you in the rear, Jeff. He will go the rear just because he wants to when he gets caught in the middle like this.
Laps complete, 60 to go in the Budweiser shootout. Earnhardt, Labonte, Earnhardt, Gordon, and Stewart on Fox. Welcome back to Daytona, where Bobby Labonte leads the Budweiser shootout, but only by inches, and not anymore. Earnhardt Jr. is going to take over the front spot, leaving his dad in the high lane.
He can get alongside, but buddy, it takes a whole lot of horsepower down that back chute to pass.
That's a pretty strong top line to be trying to get by right there. Those guys are lined up in that high line, and I know it depends. Here's Earnhardt moving to the inside of Bobby Labonte.
He'll do that just as Labonte moved down to pick up teammate Tony Stewart a lap ago. Earnhardt Sr. moves down and up right across the bow of Labonte.
That right there is absolutely breathtaking. Trust me when I tell you that. And you're on that radio, Bobby Labonte, and say, did you see that?
And I'm sure he went there before the spotter even thought about saying
it. Oh, yeah.
Need we explain why they call Earnhardt the Intimidator? I don't think so.
Boy, Rudd's windshield looks like it's got oil all over it or something. He doesn't have a very good view there. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody had blowing out a little fluid of some kind, because like I said, they run these things taped up.
Terry Labonte also says he's having trouble seeing. Steve?
And we also heard Dale Jarrett said that his windshield is full of grease. He thinks it's coming off the 36 of Kenny Schrader. Let's go to Matt.
And Steve, the one car is also complaining about a dirty windshield, but Dale Earnhardt can pretty much go where he wants to. He found that out in practice. He could pull out and pass at will, so right now he's just riding. He has not said one word on the radio since they dropped the green. Jeff?
Guys, one of the things I was over at the gift shop not too long ago talking to some of the crew members. The 18 car that Bobby's in right now is not one of his favorite cars. As a matter of fact, it's his least favorite car. The car's got really good drag numbers, but Bobby hates the way it drives. But right now, it looks like it's an awful good ride for him.
Labonte in a green car, second behind Earnhardt. You see the worried look on the crew chief on the side of Kenny Schrader's car. That's because he's just been informed they've gotten the black flag from NASCAR, leaking oil. Schrader will have to pit and see if they can plug that leak and get him back out.
Now, the only good thing about these guys that have this dirty windshield is because of new technology, they really won't have to clean that windshield when they do make that pit stop. They got a tear off that they can yank off, and they'll have like a new windshield again, so it'll keep them from having to actually clean it, because they're only going to be there for about 6 or 7 seconds for those two tires when they do get them.
But they're driving, I mean, it's like driving in the fog right now. They're just kind of seeing things ahead of them. If anything should happen, that's when you can have a problem.
We started with 18 cars, and now 11 of them have broken out front. Bill Elliott trying to work his way up and along. He is the last of that 11-car breakout and the only Dodge in the field.
And he's riding, he's running a Bill Elliott race. He's right where I think Bill would always be. He's watching this thing, and if that thing will go, we won't know it until it counts.
Jeannie?
Well, Jeff was just talking about the fact that this is a car that Bobby Labonte does not like, and he's exactly right. He doesn't like it because this is the car that he wrecked at last year's Bud Shootout. But honestly, here with the Gibbs team, they are pretty excited seeing how this car is performing. And they actually have another car they're going to use for the 500 that they call Old Faithful, but they're feeling pretty good about this one right now, guys.
There's Schrader in the pit. They will change 2 tires and try to clean things up. This will count as his pit stop. There's the oil leak up on the back. Matt?
Kenny Schrader came out, Mike, and said he doesn't think they're really leaking anything. They are changing 4 tires and inspecting the car. The inspector says he really doesn't see much, and Kenny's down and away.
Well, that will count as his green flag pit stop. He'll lose a lap to the field.
And look at the 88 car, the white car there coming into the picture. It wasn't just a couple laps ago. He was probably 20 car lengths behind this group, but because of the new aero package, the 1-inch restrictor plate, the roof fin, by himself, those guys Dyson up there, he has caught that pack and become part of the lead pack again.
This is a typical run for most of these guys. You'd expect Jarrett, Elliott, Mark Martin. Those are guys that don't really enjoy getting in there and mixing it up. And I think they're sitting there waiting for things to maybe get single file and get a little more sanitary up in front of them before you see what they really got.
All right, now, crew chief, is it too early to start making deals up and down pit road about who you want to pit with and when? Because nobody wants to pit alone and not have a drafting partner.
No, you've got to have a drafting partner, and you need at least about 3 or 4 cars to be in that. And we're to lap 19, so we're in that window. So I'm sure if we look down at the pits, you'll see crew chiefs, you'll see car owners, you'll see tire men, everybody running up and down. When you gonna pit? When you gonna pit?
Let's go to Earnhardt Jr.'s pit and Dick.
And Tony Gurley Sr. is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew chief. Is there any plan for father and son to work together? Is there any plan at all?
No, race like this, I don't believe you can make a plan because nobody's going to stick to it. So we just decided to go out there and do the best we can do, and whoever we can run with the best, that's the one we're going to run with. And right now, it looks like Tony Stewart, the Pontiacs, look like they run pretty good with that Budweiser Chevy, so maybe we might better hang in there with that Gibbs bunch.
How soon do you pit?
I don't know. There's probably going to be a bunch of strategy going on here. We're listening to a couple other people, and there's 4 or 5 of them back there with right rear tires that already given up on, so I guarantee it ain't going to be too long.
Your car is in the lead, Tony. Good luck.
And one of those cars might be Earnhardt Sr.'s. He's just drifted back to 4th place.
Yeah, let me tell you about Earnhardt's car. I've watched him race this car time and time again. When he's out front, you can't pass him. But he does not like to get back in traffic. I don't know if he runs the car loose. I don't know if the car's that free. I'm not sure what it is. But he doesn't like to be back in the traffic. He doesn't want to mix it up as much as he loves to mix it up.
9 lead changes already. That's a new shootout record. The previous record, 8. In a year when Dale Earnhardt passed DW on the final lap. So more lead changes. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads Tony Stewart as you watch the Budweiser Shootout and NASCAR on Fox. Welcome back to Daytona, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon. Earnhardt 4th and Mayfield 5th as you watch from the best seat in the house today on board the Budweiser.com airship. Aerial ambassador of the King of Beers. Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR. The Budweiser Shootout continues with 23 green flag laps. Kenny Schrader and the 90 of Ted Musgrave have made their pit stops. Jeff Hammond.
Mike, one of the things here at Daytona, normally on a long run, the cars start to pick up the push. Darrell and Larry both talked about that. Speaking with Jimmy Finnick earlier this morning, in 35 laps, the Mark Martin car, his right side tires are totally worn out. The new downforce package is wearing the right sides a lot more than ever. If a car starts pushing, don't be surprised if you start seeing pit stops here in the next 10 laps.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the deciding factor, I think, on when they pit. You're going to run, as long as you can run your car wide open, it'll stay on the bottom, then you're not going to be wanting to pit. But as soon as you start pushing up the hill and the car starts getting the to drive like Earnhardt,
I believe Earnhardt's in the pits. He's got with Gordon, 24-3 in the pits.
Gordon just about slammed on the brakes and peeled off the last second. It is Gordon, Earnhardt, Skinner, all coming onto pit road and taking more cars with them. Nemechek, Terry Labonte, and Rusty Wallace are all pitting. Matt?
The 24 car is a surprise pitting with the 3, but the 31 isn't. They had made a deal to pit with the 3, the 31, the 33, so you would have the 3 rad cars and the 36. But the 36 is out of sequence. Now to Steve Burns.
Jeff Gordon took just right side tires, Matt. Right side tires for the 24.
Labonte and Wallace finish their stops on the right side of your screen.
Gordon momentarily stalled the motor, but he got her fired up and was away. He had a good stop.
25 laps complete, 26 this time by.
Looks like Bill Elliott's going to hit pit road here one lap later.
And he is now Lonesome Bill from Dawsonville. No one pitted with him.
Oh, this is the most antagonizing thing in the world. 55 miles an hour down pit road. Your pit seems like it's 5 miles away, and you're never going to get there.
The best news for him is everyone else is going to have to come on pit road sooner or later. Dick Berggren.
Well, Bill Elliott is on his way down pit road, Mike. He stops now all by himself. This is a surprise. Everybody wanted to pit with somebody else. Earnhardt's guys are going to try to pit with 5 other cars. They got the right side tires on Elliott's car. It is going to be a 2-tire stop and a good one. 9.2 for Elliott.
Well, Daytona's a lonely town when you're the only Dodge. Nobody went with him.
You know, nobody lost a lap, so they should shake out when it's all said and done, right back about where they were.
Tony Stewart now the leader. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Labonte in 18. That black car is Mark Martin, number 6. Jeff Burton is up to 5th now. Ricky Rudd 6th. Jeremy Mayfield 7th. Dale Jarrett 8th.
This is the part of the race. There's single file. Not a lot going on right now. Right now, you're catching your breath. You're saying, whoa, man, I'm glad we finally got strung out here a little bit. You're kind of adjusting your mirror. You're looking at your belt. You're checking your gauges. You're going through your little rundown here, your little schedule checklist to be sure when it comes down to 10 to go that you're in good shape.
Gordon and Earnhardt have hooked up together 3/4 of a lap behind the leaders. Here they are, and there's quite a gap back to the lead pack.
And I'm sure you won't see no racing out of the 24-3 car. They need to stay in line. They need to keep making up as much ground as they can. You look back about 15 car lengths behind them, you see Bill Elliott. Then a little bit further back, coming out of the Trove, you see Mike Skinner. And here comes the cars that's leading the race, but they still have to make that green flag stop.
Mike Skinner is the fellow who got left behind when all that group pitted. Ooh, Labonte climbs the hill down in turn 1.
Well, that could be tires. Once they start doing that, I mean, you lose grip and you just start chasing it up that hill.
Everyone back in line. Now Martin pulls to the inside to take advantage of Labonte.
Larry, I might not have been able to make it to that 50 laps I wanted to run to.
You'd be wanting them tires twice.
I think I'd probably be hollering right now, who could have said 50 laps?
Now, the only gamble on the cars that have not pitted yet, should we get a caution and they go back racing, they still got to make that green flag stop where your Gordon, your Earnhardt, your Elliott, your Skinner, they've already made theirs. So a little bit of gamble as these guys stay out there longer and longer.
Larry, would you have brought our car in with them?
I would have done been there. When I saw Gordon and Earnhardt hit pit road, I'd find me one car and I'd be on pit road.
Jeff Hammond, how about you? Would you have pitted with them?
I'd like to challenge him on that right there. I still believe that you're at Daytona. When a car starts getting a push, you can't drive it. Pressure tires at the end, I think, would be better. So I think some of these guys right now that are staying out, they're going to be the cars that beat later on.
So, Jeff, as long as he could have stayed on the lead lap, would have stayed out on the racetrack.
Well,
Darryl?
as long as I can keep my car on the bottom, as long as I can keep my car down low, it's not got that big push in it, I would stay on the racetrack as long as I could, because those fresh tires are going to pay dividends at the end of the race.
You ought to know that, Darryl. We won a race with fresh tires one time before, and you can already see as the deal is being made, when's everybody going to come? We're getting close to that 35-lap deal.
The 18.
Down to you, Dick. Let's see what's going on.
Well, the guys from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s pit have just made a big run up pit road. They've talked to Tony Stewart's crew, and they've decided they're going to pit together. Time uncertain, but they're going to pit together, Mike.
Bobby Labonte and 3 other cars have made a deal to come in together.
And one interesting thing I saw in that picture a while ago, that was Todd Parrott, Dale Jarrett's crew chief and the engine builder from the 18 car, and I saw him hold up 4 fingers, which means we're thinking about putting 4 tires on.
Well, the longer they run, that's not a bad call. Listen, guys, handling, you hear these guys week in, week out, but at Daytona, handling is as critical as horsepower is in the race.
But here, where you cover a football field a second, Larry, how much longer will it take to change 4 tires instead of 2?
Well, these guys are changing 4 tires in about 12 or 13 seconds. The key, yeah, the 4 tires will be good. If you could get 3 or 4 cars to do it with you, then you're definitely going to be better off.
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to see somebody. Somebody take 4 tires.
Jeremy Mayfield broke on the back straightaway. He is going to the garage.
I'll tell you something else that's pretty interesting. The 24, the 3, and the 9, that pack behind them has not been able to close down on them. They've been maintaining about the same distance.
Now remember, Bill Elliott pitted all by himself. He raced up and pumped that group.
It wasn't many laps ago. As I pointed out, he was about 10 car lengths back. He's done caught these guys. So he's He's stronger than he's been showing.
Oh, I think he's about like he was qualifying.
Yeah, first.
They're closing in on him, but it's taking them a while.
We're past halfway, 38 laps to go, as you see in the Fox box at the upper left of your screen. And again, we'll remind you that across the top are numbers, positions, and driver names, and we have a second line underneath that ticker. In this case, it's showing you where those cars started. Steve?
Well, Mike, Larry McReynolds was exactly right. The 88 and the 18 are going to pit together. I talked to Mark Cronquist, the engine tuner on that 18 car. He said they are, in fact, cutting a deal to come down pit road, and the 88's going to have to do some work. They're a little bit loose. Let's go to Jeannie's Alaska.
I'll tell you what, that deal is growing because we are told that the 18 car worked out a deal with up to 4 or 5 teams to all pit at the same time. Bobby Labonte will take 4 new tires. As a matter of fact, they're going to take the air pressure down on that right rear tire about a pound.
Now, if Tony Stewart, Dale Jr., and Labonte lap the 24, the 3, and the 9, and a caution comes out, now what?
Then you got a different story.
Now what kind of deal are you going to make?
Closing in to perhaps lap Gordon, Earnhardt, and Elliott. Tony Stewart, your race leader, number 20. Matt?
Mike, I spoke to Greg Zipadelli, Tony Stewart's crew chief. He said that, yes, a number of people have come into their pits trying to make deals. Basically, he says we're coming in between lap 40 and 55, and whoever else will come with us will, but right now we have about 5 cars.
The guy that pits last, that's the guy that wins.
Sean Parker from Mark Martin's car just came down to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew. He's trying to strike a deal. They want to come in together, but the question is 2 tires or 4. If you take 2 tires, you're out of here more quickly. Parker would like to take 4. He's trying to persuade Earnhardt's guys to do the same thing so they can hook up after the pit stop and run as a group.
The only way you're going to know what to do, and if that's the right move or not, is they scan each other. Oh, he's bump drafting. He's giving a good push down the back. You got to listen to what all the other guys that took 2 are saying. If they're starting to scream already about, I got the pushback, I got the pushback, they're going to need those 4 tires to get to the finish. And that wouldn't be a bad call. I swear I don't think it would be.
This is sounding like a used car commercial. We're wheeling, we're dealing, everybody rides.
Well, and
come in and see us all together.
That's what makes this is the best Bud shootout I've ever seen.
There's the motor man for Bobby Labonte. That's him in the green shirt. That's Todd Parrott, Dale Jarrett's crew chief. They're just trying to make sure that they're on sync with what lap they're going to do it, because if they miss it by a lap with each other, they could get separated.
Plus, not only that, but you're going to come off of turn 4. You're going to be running wide open, and when you get ready to pit, you're going to dive down in that pit. You're going to be jamming gears, and the guy behind you better be on his toes.
Why is that front 3 group of cars, which are still on the tires with which they started the race, faster than the drivers who stopped for fresh tires?
Because they can run them wide open.
Huh?
They haven't picked up the push.
Hey, Larry, is this not what crew chiefs just live for? This is a race where we can actually get involved and we have some direct input in trying to make the right decision. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know sitting on top of that box, I just love the opportunity to be able to make the right decision at the right time and get an opportunity to help win my driver win a race.
Oh, in 20 years of being a crew chief, you know, I had a lot of lows, but some of the biggest highs I had, besides winning races, was making strategy calls, especially when they paid off.
This right here is what you call high-speed chase.
Just past halfway in the Budweiser shootout of 2001. Some of the leaders have pitted, some hasn't. You watching NASCAR on Fox. Complete. Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Mark Martin, Bobby Labonte, and Jeff Burton are the front 5. None of them have made their green flag pit stop yet.
No, and those tires are starting to really pay dividends for Earnhardt and Gordon. They're able to work their way back to the lead here, but they're a lap down, obviously. But Tony Stewart, Dale Jr. and those guys, Bobby Labonte, they're going to need tires pretty darn soon.
You know, one thing that I've heard interesting, Darrell, you know, we do talk about a push here at Daytona, but I've heard 2 people talk about things that indicate their car's loose. You heard Tony Uri Jr. or Sr. talk about the right rear being wore out. That's indication the car's loose. The back end's coming around. You also heard about them taking air out of the right rear tire. That's normally something you do to tighten the car up if it's loose.
Dick Berggren has more.
Well, we just heard on the radio that Earnhardt Jr. is going to pit on right around lap 45.
And you're right, it is the right rear tire that they've been holding up on. They've been listening. Everybody's talking about right rears going away. They wanted to make it last as long as they could. To Jeannie.
Right rear tire, the drama as well for Bobby Labonte. He's talking about pitting lap 46. That is the target. Right now he's having some problems in the corners. It's tight in the center of the car and really loose coming off. He's trying to hold off again until 46.
Steve?
Well, Larry Mack, Dale Jarrett is one of those cars that's reporting loose. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment and move that track bar down. So again, 88 is loose. Dale Jarrett, he's going to pit on lap 45, Matt Yoakum.
Bush Hilton just came down from the 18 pit talking to Zippy, telling Zippy what their car is doing and what the plans they need, hoping that the 20 will go with them. Right now, it looks like all the cars with the numerals 8 are going to come together, except for the 20. So look to be about 5 cars in that bunch.
Yeah, Stewart may not need to come with that group because he's going to be way out in front of them when it comes time to pit. Tony's car is still working very, very well, while his teammate Labonte had dropped to the tail of the lead draft.
Well, it's really hard to hold that car on the bottom like that. Now, with that many laps, we got 42 laps on tires. Earnhardt's got about 20 less on his right side, so he's got his work cut out for him. That baby's working good for him right now.
Ted Musgrave has gone behind the wall, joining Jeremy Mayfield as the 2 cars out of the event thus far. 43 laps complete. 27 to go. Jeff Hammond.
Mike, we keep talking all week about the poor performance of the Roush racing cars. Look, Mark Martins was in 3rd place and keep in touch. Tony Stewart as well as Dale Earnhardt Jr. You never know. We get in and get a chance to make this quick pit stop. Mark Martin could be a force to reckon with before the end of the day.
And Mike, I want to try to explain about the right rear. The cars are pushing loose. You basically have the wheels turned hard left, and that makes the car go around the turn like you want it to. But then the longer you run, the more you have to turn it to the left, to the point to where if you've ever driven on ice or snow, you get the wheels turned so far, then the back end wants to come around.
The 1 car of Steve Park has lost touch with the draft, and he makes his pit stop. Now this is lap 45 coming up. Let's see who peels off the turn 4 banking. Stewart continues to lead. Very impressive with 45 laps on those tires.
Here he comes, him and Junior.
Now, they don't have to maintain 55 miles an hour. They can come as hard as they want till they get to this line right there. Now they got to be running 55 miles an hour till they leave pit road.
This is a big, Larry, you know, this is big responsibility here.
Jeannie?
Well, as expected, here comes Bobby Labonte. The plan right now is to take him 1 pound down on that right rear, the same problem everyone's having, and 1 round down on the track bar and 4 tires. Matt?
A 4-tire stop for Tony Stewart. They did adjust the car with wedge. He was tight. Let's just go to Steve.
That 4-tire change for Dale Jarrett, they did make that track bar adjustment. Right side tires on, left side tires on. We have a crewman down,
The 99, the engine's fault, and they were having to push it and it fired and it took off.
Yeah, it took off and left them pushing
and laying on the ground.
They lost their footing.
Yeah, actually they didn't get hit. They were pushing the car. When it fired, he took off.
So that should be it for green flag pit stops. 25 laps to go.
Now, Larry, with them 4 tires and already having been leading the race.
First, let's show you what happened on pit road, Darrell, to Jeff Burton's crew.
Yeah, they just...
His car had stalled when he left. These guys was pushing the car. I saw him when he left the pits, and they had pushed it 3 or 4 pit stops before it finally fired. When it did fire, it's like they lost their momentum and started tumbling.
You know, I tell you one thing, Tony Stewart is driving my favorite car right now.
The one in front.
It's one in front. It's got 4 fresh tires on it.
You're riding with the leader, Mark Martin, who took on only 2 tires when many of the others took 4.
And he's got about a 20-car length lead, and that'd be great anywhere, DW, except Daytona.
Yeah, he's running about 2 seconds slower in that pack behind him.
Well, that's the difference between 2 tires and 4 tires in the pit stop time. About half the length of the straightaway that Mark Martin currently leads by. But for how long? That is the question. 22 laps to go in the Budweiser shootout of 2001. Mark Martin all alone out in front of that pack on Fox. Welcome back to Daytona and the Budweiser shootout. 22 laps to go. Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte with those 4 fresh tires have worked their way past Mark Martin and into the lead.
Yeah, it didn't take them very long. I was catching by what, Larry? A second and something a lap.
Second 2 tenths in 1 lap. Yeah.
Here's how it happened.
There's just no substitute for tires here.
Right down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt to have your teammate pushing you either. That's another plus. You see the 99 running behind the 6, and he's trying to help him, and they're going to be able to hang in there pretty well, I think. But I don't believe they'll be able to challenge those 2 Pontiacs.
You look at those lead 4 of the top 4 there. The only one that changed 2 tires was Mark Martin in the 6 car. Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett each changed 4 tires.
Yeah, and Jarrett had a pretty slow stop. He got out late, but he's certainly proven that the 4 tires were worth the time.
Here comes Earnhardt Jr. hunting 4th place as he and Jarrett get side by side.
Look at Jeff Burton right there on the outside. Despite having all those problems, he moved down to the bottom. He's back up in there despite being on pit road a lot longer than anybody else.
And that'll bring the rest of that pack right up to them.
Got to remember something about that 99 car. Didn't he win this race here in July? The 400, not this race, but he won here in July. And that's a fast car.
Look who's back in the picture there. The old man in black right there.
Yeah, well.
He and Jeff Gordon moving along.
If he can pull this out with 2 tires, he is the man.
Rusty Wallace right with them.
Every time I say that, somebody must tell him, Waltrip said you can't do it. And he'll go right up there and do it just to spite me.
And he told you yesterday, why don't you come ride with him?
I wouldn't ride with him. I'd just soon get an electric chair.
The sensation would be the same, right?
I didn't even like riding up in another car out there with him, let alone in one with him.
13 cars pretty much in the lead pack.
Every time I'd get around him, here's what I'd hear.
3 drivers back outside the lead pack and 2 in the garage. Mayfield and Musgrave.
That's the first thing I'd hear. Then the next thing I'd hear wasn't a very good sound.
Mike, Dale Earnhardt came on his radio and told his spotter, Danny Culler, go over to Gordon's spotter and tell him that we need to work together to fall in line because we are both on older tires, or else we are going to lose this pack.
There are the spotters high above the Winston Tower, 2 floors above us, and way above the racetrack. They need to be eagle-eyed because at times those cars are a mile away from their vantage point.
Well, what everybody's doing right now is they're preparing themselves for the final 5 laps. The spotters are cleaning their glasses and their binoculars, and they're sipping on their drink up there, and they're getting ready because they know that this thing is going to pick up the action with 5 to go.
Look at Gordon on the inside. Evidently, Danny Culler delivered that. Earnhardt there, I think he had his arm out the window.
No, it was
waving, was it, or was it just a?
That was the roof flap on the 18 car was flapping up and down.
Oh, gosh.
And what's been causing that, Darrell, is that roof fin across the front. It's disturbing the air across the roof. It's making the air mad. It's not knowing what to do, and it'll raise that roof flap up.
Yep. We've seen that in a number of incidences when the cars are in groups.
And look what happened to our leader, Tony Stewart. He got drop-kicked.
Well, I know what he'll be saying. These tires ain't very good. Got a bad set of tires. On the other hand, he might think a little strategy might be going on there with Tony. He might think getting back and getting a run on him might be a better situation for him.
He went from 1st to 6th, leaving Bobby Labonte at the lead. Mark Martin in 2nd, Earnhardt Jr., Earnhardt Sr.
Here comes Mark Martin with Dale Jr. in tow, going into turn 3. They're going to take the lead. Dale Sr. moving up the middle with help from Dale Jarrett.
Boy, Labonte and...
Boy, if the Daytona 500's anything like this, I can't wait till next Sunday.
Labonte and Stewart, they went from leading to fighting for the lead.
And here comes Junior with a look to the outside.
I got to say, these cars have got a lot of grip. Some of them just to have those older tires on.
I told you, DW, trust me, them two tires will be just fine.
Now, did Earnhardt Jr. move up to the outside to pick up his dad in the draft, or did he just move to go?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he did.
One of those.
Yeah. I'm thinking he wants his dad to get behind him. I tell you, when he gets in front, he could be somebody to deal with.
There's a little bump drafting there at the end of the back straightaway between the Earnhardts.
The reason they hit at the back there, at the end of the straightaway, the plate and the drag these cars have, the front car slows way down at the end of the straightaway. That gives the guy behind him a little run on him, but when he hits him in the rear end, it shoots that lead car forward just like he hit the afterburner.
So that second car, since it doesn't have to push the wind, it can push the front car.
He gets a heck of a tow, and the guy in the front is slowing down. He gives him a boot and speeds him back up.
Here comes the teammates, Joe Gibbs. And look at Dale Jarrett get a run, sucking up on the Tony Stewart and orange car.
I believe that the 20 and the 18, I believe they said, look, let's see, be sure we can handle these guys. Let's get back there and pass them.
They're going to catch up Terry Labonte here in a second. Whoa, lap down.
18 car went way high there. Not a good move.
And look at Earnhardt Sr. in the 3, shuffled to the back of that pack once again.
That's all about, he can't, I think he's probably having trouble holding it wide open every lap. A little arrow push and somebody getting the wrong place, and he's got to let out the throttle a little bit.
You see Terry Labonte there, he's a lap car, but did you see Tony Stewart down? He's hunting any little draft he can get. Even though Terry's running slower, it still was a little bit of poking, a little bit of hole in the air for him.
I think what happened then was the 18 and the 20, they got shoved out of line just a little bit, but I think you can see how quickly they came back to the front. Look, here comes Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart. Oh,
a little bit of bump in there. Dale Jarrett decided he needed to get back up on the racetrack. He was running out of racetrack. That funnel was getting smaller.
And Dale Jarrett is a nice man, but I wouldn't do that to him.
No.
Dale really don't have no help down there on the bottom of the racetrack.
No, anytime you get cut off going into 3 like that, you've got to lift a little bit. You lose your momentum, and you're going to get passed by a lot of cars. He'll have to, now he's got to go to the back and work his way back up there again.
Mike, I asked Kevin Hamlin, the crew chief on the 3 car, if you had it to do all over again, seeing now what you know with the 20 car, how strong it is on 4 tires, would you have gone with 4 tires? I says, no, I think we go 2, because this thing's not over yet.
Here comes Junior for the lead by his lonesome on the bottom.
That was strong. That was strong.
Here comes Stewart right back after him.
That's horsepower down the back. That's,
whoa! Tony gets loose there off turn 4.
That's handling off of turn 4.
That's a handful off of turn 4.
That might have even scared Junior. I don't know.
Scares me. I'm way up here.
Oh, Junebug, he got to look at the back of that Pontiac here. Watch this. Coming off of turn 4, he's got that thing cranked down under him, and he says, hello. Oh, yeah. Junior never even flinched. He didn't even look over.
He didn't even know he was there.
Nah, he didn't. It bothered him a bit.
That's Jeff Gordon way on the inside with that pack of cars. Rusty Wallace breaks out of the front pack, goes to the bottom. They're all chasing Tony Stewart, who won 6 races last season to lead the league. Dick Berggren?
We're listening to Dale Earnhardt, the elder, and he just told his crew he has to run up high. He said, I can't run anywhere else. Mike?
Well, that's not good news if you want to win this race, unless you have a lot of help up there.
It is and it isn't. I mean, at least he can run somewhere. A lot of times the cars get so ill you can't run them anywhere. So he's found, that's a good thing about an Earnhardt or a Gordon or a Jarrett, those guys, they'll find a place to make their car work.
See, now he has Rusty Wallace with him in the 2 up on the high side. There are just 10 laps to go. Kind of a shame. I'd like to see this go on all afternoon.
And where did Rusty Wallace come from?
Way
I don't think we've mentioned Rusty Wallace all day.
Where did this whole pack come from? It wasn't long ago. We had about 5 or 6 cars. Now we got 13 back up there in the lead draft.
And 2 young guns on the point, Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I believe that Junior's car is a little faster than Tony's car, but Tony's car's just got those 4 tires, gives him a little bit more grip through the turns.
Now, the crew chief's talking to their drivers. What kind of input feedback is going on right now?
Right now, the crew chief isn't saying a word. The crew chief can't do nothing. It's driver keeping his mouth closed, crew chief keeping his mouth closed, spotter doing the work right now.
The only guys that are saying anything are the ones at the back, and they're giving out a whole bunch of excuses why they ain't up no closer to the front.
There's nothing that crew chief can do now. They can talk about what they should have done after this race, but pretty much for the next 9 laps, they've got what they got.
Jarrett's on the inside trying to make a move. No one goes with him, and he makes a move, but it's back 1 spot.
Yeah, well, he had a car. You know, he run up to the front there a while ago. He's trying to work his way back. That's really what he's doing.
He'll need some help to do it.
Can't get anybody down there with him.
That's his teammate in the black car there on the outside, Ricky Rudd.
Man, you look over and you know it's your teammate, and you say, hey, bud, I'll go help. Can't do it right now, Bart. I got to go.
Catch you later.
Yeah.
He's going to go back to about 9th position. And here he comes through turn 2, trying to picks up a spot, goes back a spot.
As you can see, they keep the cars, they got 2 tires are running higher and higher and higher. Bad news is, boys, they're going to run out of racetrack here in a little bit.
Jarrett back to 10. Tries to slip up in line, but can't do it in front of Schrader, so he'll go back to 11th. Ricky Rudd now makes a run.
I was going to say, didn't somebody pick Ricky Rudd to win this thing?
I believe that was our partner, Jeff, down there.
He's been in the pit. Oh, he's been in the garage. He got some inside information.
But nobody seems to be able to go alone. Rudd gets back in line just as Gordon breaks out on the bottom.
You get such a run right at the end of these straightaways, right at the end of going into turn 1 and right at the end of the back. And if you got room to go.
And Gordon just climbed the hill and almost got to the turn 2 wall. From Mark Martin. And Schrader slipping past. Now, as long as these two, Stewart and Earnhardt Jr., stay single file, can anyone do anything with them?
The only place is going to be at the end of the straightaway.
Well, look at Jeff Gordon as he climbed the hill.
Well, he did that on purpose. He wanted to get up and pick those cars in front of him, wanted to get that draft coming off turn 2. I know it looked ugly, but that's what he was trying to do.
6 laps to go. Now it's Labonte getting shuffled. Bobby Labonte.
Bobby has got to be a little frustrated because he was up there right behind his teammate. He's got 4 tires. That old car, that car that he didn't like, he's going to like it a whole lot less when this is over with.
Well, when you come to Daytona as the Winston Cup champion, do you find everybody gunning for you?
Most of the time you do, but, you know, the Labonte brothers, Bobby and Terry both, they're such low-key, nice guys. They're non-assuming. They just kind of walk through the garage, and everybody kind of loves them, and I think everybody's kind of happy to see him be the champion. I don't know what they're all gunning for.
Schrader just went 3 wide between the Labonte brothers, or rather between Bobby Labonte and Jeff Gordon, to move up to 6th. Schrader started on pole.
Well, I know that Dale Sr. is sitting behind Jr. saying when he goes, if he'll make a move on Tony Stewart, I might have a chance.
We talked about Bobby Labonte, but look at him on the bottom of the racetrack there, right there challenging for the 5th position. He's got a little bit of help behind him.
What happens in the race, particularly this far into the race, you get such a big push off of turn 2 over there that if he can continue to run the bottom and hold it wide open off of there, he'll come forward.
Handful of laps left. Tony Stewart has had it pretty much his own way, but watch Schrader. Schrader keeps coming in that yellow car, 1 at a time, a lap at a time. If he can get a little help from Bobby Labonte, he may move up here past Rusty Wallace.
He's doing a good job down on the inside. And here comes Labonte with him. I tell you, this is a chess match. I wouldn't know who to pick right now.
Schrader started first. Dropped back as far as 17th, all the way back up to 6th. An up and down day. The trend is up.
You know, you'd have thought he was doomed having to pit early. And
oh, whoa, that's more than bump drafting. That's get out of my way.
Man, that will absolutely put your heart in your throat.
Dale Jr. moved low, Tony moved low with him, then Dale tried to yank it back and got just a little bit loose right there going into turn 3.
Dale's car is it's really fast down the back straightaway. He can really get a run on Tony, and Tony's going to have to be on his toes, or he's going to shake him out. He's going to pass him going into turn 3, and I'm telling you then the race is on.
Schrader falling out of line.
Motor trouble.
3 laps to go. Is Schrader out of gas?
He could. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Remember, he stopped at lap 17.
Yeah.
Pat?
The bad news, Ken Schrader is out of gas.
Oh.
Pitted early because of the black flag for the oil leak and tried to stretch it. Here comes Earnhardt to the bottom on Tony Stewart.
What is this over there?
Well, he can see the air. He can also smell the money. It's 2 laps away.
I think it's that open face helmet. I think it's something about that helmet that lets him feel. He don't see anything. I think he feels something.
No one has won more races at Daytona International Speedway than Dale Earnhardt.
Let me tell you something. That wasn't all that bad a move. We'll have to see how it plays out. But I think Tony Stewart was feeling like he might not be in a good position leading this thing on the last lap.
Daryl, they are running that high side of that racetrack.
Don't count out Rusty Wallace. He's kind of snuck his way back up to the front pack there, the 98 winner of the shootout.
I think Tony Stewart thought he thought better of leading on the last lap. I think he wanted to get Earnhardt shook out and see what he could do with it.
Found out Stewart, no help, and he goes by Earnhardt on the bottom side going into turn 3 and 4.
I'm not so sure they didn't touch because Earnhardt really took off up the hill. White flag.
A Pontiac has never won this race. Stewart leads the Bell lap in a Pontiac. Here comes Earnhardt, Wallace, Jeff Burton, and Gordon to the inside.
Let me tell you what, Tony Stewart is doing some good mirror driving right now.
Look at the run. Dale Jarrett gets there behind Jeff Gordon on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Boys, the race is just getting ready to start. Hang on to your helmet.
Where do you swerve?
Well, nowhere yet. All right, now go.
This is it. Down to turn 3, final time.
If he doesn't get him here, he doesn't get him.
3 wide going into turn 3. Dale Jarrett pulling Bobby Labonte along with him. He's up to 4th.
But it's not for the big money. Tony Stewart, the Rushville, Indiana Rocket, leads him off the corner. Earnhardt may have one last chance.
It's over.
Tony Stewart wins the Budweiser shootout over Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace.
That was a fun race to watch.
How many lead changes do you suppose we had? I won't talk about it at the start-finish line, but on the entire race.
To show the effectiveness of NASCAR's new aerodynamic package. In last year's Daytona 500, which was a bit of a snoozer, Dale Jarrett dominated, only 9 lead changes. Here we ran just 70 miles and had 19 lead changes.
And that was at the line.
Oh, man.
Stewart wins the shootout in his 2nd appearance. He's the 14th different driver to win it. There's Kensington, Connecticut's Greg Zipadelli, the crew chief. And it's the first win for a Pontiac in this race, Steve Burns.
And Greg Zipadelli, the crew chief, congratulations. That was nerves of steel on the driver and the team, man.
This Home Depot Pontiac ran great all day. Tony, he's just done a great job. We've been learning these restrictor plate races. I think we've had really good cars. I haven't been making some of the best calls, and Tony, we're kind of learning. He did a great job today. He did what he had to do. All the guys on the crew have worked real hard all winter, tweaking on these cars, and we got a good one. I think our 500 car is a lot better than this one, so we're pretty excited.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Open wheeler, IndyCar racer, Silver Crown sprint cars, midgets, Winston Cup cars, doesn't matter. If it's got an engine, put Tony Stewart in it, he'll find a way to win. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. Plates Tony and his wide track attack team on yet another victory. Wider is better. There's the pass for the win with 2 to go on Dale Earnhardt.
It really was, and Dale looked like he took off up the hill there just a little bit, but maybe he did on purpose to try to get a run on Tony as they come off turn 4. But I got to tell you, boys, I am worn out. I got blisters on my hands.
How about this fella? Fresh from 70 laps work. Tony Stewart wins in his 2nd Budweiser shootout appearance. Dick Berggren.
Well, congratulations, Tony Stewart. Tell us, was it driver, car, crew, strategy? What won this thing for you today?
Playing the restrictor plate game. I hate this stuff, but it worked for us.
With his crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, congratulating him.
What are you learning? You said as soon as you got into victory lane, you said, I'm finally learning this game. What did you learn that helped you today?
I'll tell you what, you know, when you got Dale Earnhardt behind you, he's going to pull every trick out he can to win here. And he's won so much here that you got to pay attention to what he's doing. And, you know, I'll tell you what, I can't thank Dale Earnhardt Jr. enough. I mean, him and I worked together all day long, and whether he was leading and I was behind him or vice versa, we really worked well to get today. And that's something I'm going to be looking forward to next Sunday, him and I working together again, because we really ran well. We ran up front all day, and we were able to really get some runs on some guys. So, you know, I don't know if his old man's going to be very happy with him, but him and I had a good day nonetheless.
All right, congratulations. Match with Earnhardt. Well, Dale Earnhardt made a great drive, nearly pulled off your 7th Bud Shootout victory. The 4 tires versus 2, was that the difference?
Well, I reckon. I don't know what they did, but my car was awful loose, awful pushy. I could tell they had better rubber on it, but I just kept driving the car, flying the car, doing the best I could on the top. And Rusty and the guys worked real well with us. I just knew I needed that top lane. I couldn't get on the bottom. I'd shove off for turn 2 with the wind and everything. So we just kept working, and I tried him one to go and got the lead. Maybe it's too soon.
Well, he finishes second. I'm told down here, speculation is the 20, the 3, the 2, and the 9 will be headed for a trip to the wind tunnel later tonight. Now to Steve.
Well, Matt, we're with the driver of that number 2 car, Rusty Wallace. Rusty, heck of a show today. Tell us about the race.
It was a good car all day long. Early in the race, the windshield got coated with oil, and I couldn't see anything, and I had to back up by 15 lengths. We came in, they pulled the tear off the window, and then the hot rod took back off, and it ran strong all day long. I ran pretty warm in the water. We'll have to work on that. The front end was pushing a little too much down on turn 2, but I worked good on the top side of the track, and the car ran great. Going into turn 3, 1 lap to go, Dale went low. I started to go high, and I thought I was going to get him there and maybe pull off a victory when Stewart was doing what he was doing. But I'll tell you what, all in all, coming from tail back to 3rd, I thought it was a good run for the Middle Light Ford today. It was a real good car today for me.
Great run, Rusty. Let's go to Jeannie.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., not that you can get an assist in this sport, but Tony Stewart just mentioned you and wanted to thank you for your help out there today.
Yeah, Tony's one of the guys that'll work with me with the limited experience I got. I know I got a lot of guys that respect me out there, so that comes with time. And me and Tony have been buddies for a long time. He's raced with me in the Busch Series, so I help him out on the draft, and he helps me some.
What did you say to your dad at breakfast today to make you get out there and swap so much paint? And it looked like there was some help, and then maybe you were hung out to dry a little bit.
Yeah, we worked together the first half of the race, I think. We really haven't ever sat down and talked about it, so I really don't know what he wants me to do when I'm behind him or whatever, but I did what I thought he'd want, and got him in the lead a couple times. He helped me out a few times, but when it comes down to the last 10 laps or so, ain't nobody going to be helping you. So Tony was just a lucky guy to be up front. I mean, I wouldn't never thought he'd have won the race, but he was the lucky guy that wasn't having to race everybody back there.
Well, we should be honest here. Your dream was that you won the Daytona 500 Knuckle Buck Shootout, so your dream is still alive, yes?
It's looking pretty good, I think. We didn't win today, but ain't nothing cold Budweiser ain't gonna fix.
Oh, the sponsors love you. Guys?
Yes, they do. There is a very soggy but very happy Tony Stewart. After a great win here in the Budweiser Shootout, in only his 2nd appearance in this race of pole winners, he led 36 of the 70 laps. Dale Earnhardt trying for his 35th Daytona win, finished 2nd. Rusty Wallace climbed the ladder all the way to 3rd from tailback, as he said. Dale Jarrett 4th. Jeff Burton finishes in 5th. Earnhardt Jr., a 6th place finish. Bobby Labonte's car faded a bit to 7th. Mark Martin got close. And here's a look back through the field with 16 of the 18 starters running. Tony Stewart wins the Budweiser Shootout, and we'll have lots more from Daytona International Speedway. You are watching Speedweeks on Fox.
And Dale Earnhardt has won this 10 straight times, a dozen overall. The Intimidator standing by with our intimidating reporter, Jeannie Zalesko in the pits. Jeannie?
Yeah, whatever you say, Chris. Good news, bad news, actually, for the 3-car. Dale Earnhardt actually blew an engine during the final practice run on Wednesday, and it was his 125 engine. That's the bad news. They thought they were just having a gear problem when they sent him back out and the engine blew. But the crew said, hey, if that engine was going to go, it is really good news that it went yesterday. And I'm making my way to Dale Earnhardt. Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. I know this is really important, but so is this, because I need to find out your strategy here. I've seen about 5 other drivers come over, bowing down and begging. They want to know, are you going to charge to the front? You're going to hang back for a while?
Well, we got a brand new engine in here, so we're going to probably warm it up good first to get in a pre-sweat mode here and get all geared up. But I'm going to try to go to the front. I'm going to try to go to the front fast, or as quick as I can, get out of the traffic and see if we can ride along at the front and wait for 50 laps or 125 miles and be in front at the end. It's going to be a it's going to be a battle getting through those cars. There's good race cars up there, Bobby and all the guys, and I think the 15 car is a sleeper too.
Well, it's a battle you have won several times before. Words to
26 cars at the ready, and it won't be known until after race 2 who goes home. Here's the way they'll line up in this first Gatorade 125. Row 1, Bill Elliott on pole. He's won this race 4 times. Dale Jarrett, the 3-time 500 champion. Row 2 to the inside, Jeff Gordon, who won a qualifier in '93. Sterling Marlin, a 2-time winner of the 125. Joe Nemechek looking for his 7th start in the 500. And Johnny Benson, who nearly won the 500, leading with 5 laps to go last year. Michael Waltrip, a runner-up in today's race in 1998. And Bobby Hamilton, new to the Andy Petrie team. Rookie Andy Houston, graduate of the NASCAR Truck Series. And Robbie Gordon has 2 top 10 finishes in this race in 3 starts. Defending Winston Cup champ Bobby Labonte won this race 2 years ago. And Steve Park, the defending Watkins Glen winner. Casey Atwood, the rookie, has to race his way into the field, and Dale Earnhardt has won 10 of the last 11 125s, but never started this far back. Buckshot Jones trying for his first 500, and former truck champ Ron Hornaday driving for A.J. Foyt. Jimmy Spencer, 3rd in this race in 1990. Kenny Wallace trying to make his 6th 500. Kenny's older brother Mike in a full-time Cup rides for the first time since '95, and Rick Mast, 4th in this race, 1991. Derek Cope was 6th in last year's qualifier. Carl Lohr, a rookie. Brett Bodine, 5th in the qualifier in '94. Jason Leffler, another rookie. Jeff Burbage, first time in this race since 1996. And Jerry Nadeau from the back of the pack to try and make the field. Pace laps underway. We'll be back with you at 190 miles an hour next. Welcome back to Daytona, where this weekend, Saturday, the Napa 300 for the Busch Series on Fox, and NASCAR Winston Cup Happy Hour on FX. Sunday, wall-to-wall coverage of the Daytona 500, beginning with NASCAR this morning here on the net at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The Daytona 500 on Fox, and NASCAR Victory Lane every Sunday night at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. There's the view from Ron Hornaday's A.J. Foyt car, 16th starting spot for Hornaday. Looking back from Dale Earnhardt, the furthest back he's ever started in this race, 14th. And Michael Waltrip looking ahead from his 7th starting spot, Dale Jarrett from the outside pole.
I like that view. I love that view. Let's see, anything but a pace car.
26 cars in each race. They'll run 50 laps, 125 miles. The purse is secondary to the fact that the first 14 finishers go to the Daytona 500 on Sunday. The weather continues to change as we go through this week.
It really does.
Well, when you look at it, there's 2 good factors here that supported these race teams. To the crew chief, it's the temperature, and that's about like yesterday, which says the track temperature is going to be about the same, so setup should be comparable to yesterday. The one that's important to the engine builder is that humidity. It's about 20% lower than yesterday, and that means the engine guys had to put jet in that carburetor, which is going to flow more fuel, and we're going racing.
These teams and these fans have waited all through a cold winter for this moment. Green flag, and the first Gatorade 125 is on. Waltrip breaks out on the bottom.
Bill's obviously a little racier today. He didn't protect that line last Sunday, but he's down there saying, hey, you ain't going to pass me that easy today, boys.
Moving up in the middle, Brett Bodine, 21st fastest speed overall.
He was moving up through there without a lot of help, but he did get to the bottom line. He didn't need to stay in the middle very long.
Yeah, but where's he going to go? They're already packed in there tight.
Like hitting a roadblock.
It is.
Back of that pack, the white car of Jeff Purvis with Jason Leffler. And Dale Jarrett getting clotheslined on both sides.
Yeah, he's got 3 wide. He's got cars on both sides of it. He's just floating through the middle, floating to the back's what he's doing.
What he's waiting on that spotter to tell him either clear high or clear low when he can get one of those lines.
And, you know, I've called in many a time after the first lap and said, boys, we ain't got it today. She's just not going to get the job done. I'm just hanging on. You can usually tell right off.
Jarrett finds a spot behind Casey Atwood. He got drop kicked to 11th.
And, of course, the crew chief's saying, well, wait for your fluids to get hot. Wait for your air pressure to build up. You're going to be okay. We're going to race good.
Earnhardt alongside. Steve Park just in front of Earnhardt.
Earnhardt's looking for some of his helpers. He spent a lot of money to get those guys out there. Help me out, boys.
I guarantee he's wearing that right arm out.
I'm telling you right now.
Follow me.
He's got that rookie behind him, and that rookie will do exactly what that veteran tells him to do.
Jason Leffler going to school on Dale Earnhardt. There in the high groove. Jeff Gordon
with a toe.
Pull the train down low.
Boy, he's got some help, too. That 18 is pushing him right up to the front. These cars really slow down. The lead car will slow down at the end of both straight into 3 and into 1. That's where that aero package really kicks in.
Gordon moves up to 7th in the 24. Bobby Labonte right behind him to 9th. Jerry Nadeau, 25, climbing his way up through the hard way, up the middle.
Well, that'll work for you going forward. When you're sucking up through the middle, you can make some good moves. But if you ever get shook out and pushed into the middle from the lead, you go backwards.
As long as you got a little bit of help, which they've got right here. They've got some cars lined up in the middle, so they are moving forward. At least they're not losing no ground. Casey Atwood in the 19 car there, he's just following them boys up through there on the inside.
That middle line is a sucker hole, I'm telling you. All it does is get you going and then throws you back.
Right on Hornaday, he is 2 positions back of the bubble. Trying to qualify for the Daytona 500. First 14 finishers, not counting Bill Elliott. Ooh, 55 got into Robbie Gordon here in the tri-oval. Bobby Hamilton, contact.
We don't want to, I tell you, don't want to get Robbie Gordon riled up because he's got a bit of a temper and he will come back on you.
Casual contact there between Hamilton and Gordon.
Yeah, casual at 190 miles an hour. It's good for a couple of heartbeats.
Michael runs Jeff Gordon in the red car there at the bottom, running down to the bottom. He's got a line behind him.
Casey Atwood, number 19. Right now, the boy on the bubble.
There's Bobby Labonte trying to work that low side with sucking Casey right along. Ray Evernham is talking to Casey every inch of the speedway around here. Stay with that 18. Stay with that 18. Follow the 18.
I think somebody told Jason Leffler in the 01 car, don't you lose sight of that rear bumper, that black 3 car.
You know who told him that, don't you? Is that guy in the black 3 car. You stay behind me, boy.
Lead change. Sterling Marlin to the front for a moment. Elliott fights back on the high side, and here comes Michael Waltrip's number 15 on the bottom.
Well, I think we saw more out of Bill in the first 5 laps of this race than we saw in the Bud Shootout last week, because Bill is determined to stay up front. He's hanging on, fighting for that lead.
Down low. Waltrip brings Gordon with him.
No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did. Brother Michael.
Sterling Marlin, about a half a lap ago, the silver car in the middle, he was fixing to take the lead. He's already been drop kicked all the way back to about 14.
And look at that 10. How did Johnny Benson get to second place?
Yeah, that's
just snuck his way up through there.
Those Pontiacs are kind of like sleepers. You don't talk about them a lot, and the next thing you know, they're leading the race.
I have a feeling we're going to be talking about them a lot on
Whoa,
Sunday.
look at this. Gordon, oh, my goodness.
Way downtown.
That's basically out of bounds, by the way. He got shoved out of bounds, but he kicked it back in.
Michael Waltrip, the loser on that one, but now he's got Earnhardt, who owns Waltrip's car, right behind.
Hang on, Michael. Help's on the way.
But you heard Dale say before the race started, watch that 15 car. I think he's got something. So Dale's pretty astute, I might add.
96 mixing it up there up front. Andy Houston, one of the rookies.
Now watch Dale slide right in that hole right there right in front of Robbie Gordon, and he picks his way up a little bit.
Gordon's team has been admonished by NASCAR officials to keep their car up on the racing surface. Bill Elliott, your leader. Jeff Gordon in second. Johnny Benson and rookie Andy Houston, the front four. Matt?
Mike, on Sunday, fuel was a major concern after the Bud shootout going the distance in this Twin 125. But after yesterday's session, most teams are optimistic. But Kevin Hamlin, Dale Earnhardt's crew chief, is not taking a chance. Before they rolled off the grid, when they gave the command to start, Dale did not fire his car, knowing he could save at least a half a gallon until the car started to roll. Dick?
Fuel never used to be an issue in this event. They all went green to checker 50 laps and had no problems. But some new rule changes have caused fuel to become a very serious issue. Big new blade on the roof of the car. Big new blade on the back of the car. Bigger restrictor plate. All of that is eating more fuel, and NASCAR has tightened up the rules on the fuel tank. Crew chiefs on pit road are concerned. We may see somebody run out. We may see some people come in for gas. To Steve Burns.
Dick, one crew chief told me this morning he was more concerned about tires than he was gas. Thought they had the fuel mileage thing figured out. This track is much more abrasive than the one like it in Talladega. So tires also a concern, and when to get them, if to get them. Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, the last thing Bobby Labonte asked before he took off, what is the temperature of the track? Because he realized it's a lot hotter, it is a lot slicker, and he may hang back a bit, actually, and see how some of the other cars are performing before he decides to really make his move, especially considering he is not planning on stopping at all for fuel.
Labonte there is 18th in car 18. Here's Jerry Nadeau coming up to lend a hand to Earnhardt.
I just want you to know one thing. It's as scary up here as it is out there. These guys scare me to death. I mean, you see the 4-car slide up and almost get into Earnhardt off of turn 4 there.
From a crew chief perspective, it's scarier up here. I used to be on the pit box. All I could see is when you come down the front stretch, but I can see the whole racetrack.
Yeah, we got all these cameras, and we can see every move. We can see them wiggle, waggle, fishtail, slide, bump, bang. Let the rough side drag, boys. We're having a good time.
Now we're going to see a Chevrolet in the lead for the second time today. Gordon puts the nose of that number 24 in the wind. Going to beat Bill Elliott back to the line.
DW, he did something that's pretty tough there. He did that without any help, and he slid back up just as they went in the corner. And normally when you get out of line like that, you're going to lose positions. He took the lead of the race.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure that Bill wasn't working with him a little bit, too, because Bill's got a good fast car today, and he's going to hang with Gordon. That's a good move.
That green 14 of Ron Hornaday right now is on the bubble, the final transfer spot. Give a call to young Andy Houston, 4th place in his first Gatorade 125 attempt. You're watching NASCAR on Fox Sports Net. Rookie Carl Long driving for Thee Dixon, and Tinsley Hughes has brought out the first caution of this first 125-mile qualifying race. Here's what happened. That yellow car, top of your screen.
Yeah, this cat right here, Carl Long. I drove that car, so poor Carl. Good news for, bad news for Carl. He blew up. Good news for the guys that were behind him. They all got, he got down out of the way, and everybody got by clean. So he did a good job of hanging on to it.
Now Long's speed is 50th fastest. His owner points are 51st. He will be going home.
Guys, pit road's fixing to get interesting.
Okay, Larry, I'm hollering at Larry. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
We've run 13 laps. The cautions will allow them to get better fuel mileage. It's about 2 cautions. Here comes Dale Earnhardt on pit road, and everybody behind him's following him. Now, I think Dale Earnhardt was the monkey there, so let's see what these guys do, Matt.
55 miles per hour, the pit road speed. Dale complained that the track is very slick and very greasy. They will make a 4-tire stop and top off the 3-car with fuel. Danny Chocolate Myers pulls the can away as they complete work on the right side and come around to the left. The 33 cars also, and the 88 of Dale Jarrett working on the right side of the car. And Earnhardt is down and away.
It's a 4-tire stop for Jarrett. They're going to adjust the chassis just a little bit with tire pressure. He's done. He's out of here. To Steve.
And Sterling Marlin getting tires on his Dodge team. Sterling a little bit slower on the left rear, but he is down and away.
Earnhardt was the only one of the 8 leading cars to pit.
Well, I think what happened there, we talked about fuel, questionable, but if the track is a hotter track today, slicker today, Dale may want those fresh tires today. He does have 70 laps from last Sunday to make that call off of, and they listen to him a lot.
Brett Bodine getting an assist and being pushed in. A team that he owns. Steve, why didn't Jeff Gordon come in?
Mike, when the caution came out, Robbie Loomis and Jeff Gordon started a conversation. Robbie said, how's the car feel? Jeff said, Robbie, it feels great. They said, let's just stay out and ride around. We've only got 12 laps on these tires. Jeff Gordon likes that 24 car.
Gordon is in the lead. His Chevrolet leads Bill Elliott's Dodge, Johnny Benson's Pontiac, rookie Andy Houston having a great run here, and Mike Wallace. You're watching the Gatorade 125s on Fox Sports Net. We are back under green. The first 7 cars on the racetrack did not pit. Jeff Gordon, Bill Elliott, Johnny Benson, Andy Houston, Mike Wallace, Steve Hart, and Kenny Wallace did not pit under that caution.
And I'm coming down to get the green flag, and Larry's over there hollering, all right, it's going to be one. You got the green this time by, and he hollers, go, 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 go. Don't pass to the right, though.
Dale Earnhardt in the black car, he's not wasting no time bringing some of the guys with more fresh tires with him. He says, come on, boys, we got them now.
You know, that's interesting because he told us after the race last week, the 70-lapper, that, you know, he only took 2 tires in that race, and he was really bragging about how good his car was on 2 fresh tires.
But isn't it better on 4?
Oh, they feel better, man. That driver will be whistling a happy tune right now, especially when about 15, 20 laps on those other guys' tires.
Earnhardt up to 7th, and right now, Joe Nemechek, 33, is in the final transfer spot for the 500.
See Kenny Wallace in the white car behind the 3 car. Darryl, when them cars pitted, and Kenny Wallace looked in his rearview mirror and everybody behind him was on pit road, that's a pretty sick feeling.
You know what he said? Raw, raw.
Somewhere somebody has to stay out and somebody has to come.
That's right.
17 cars pitted, 8 did not. There's the transfer spot, 33 Nemechek. Right now in 15th. Oops, right now Jimmy Spencer's in 15th.
We're seeing something that really we haven't seen since we've been here for 6 days. A few cars are straggling along back in the back there like they couldn't get up to speed on that restart. Anybody down there in the pit know anything? Anybody down there know anything's going on? Is anybody we can talk to?
How about Todd Parrott?
Hey, Todd. Todd, this is Larry McReynolds.
Hey, Larry Mac.
Hey, 50 laps, 12 laps. Why you come to pit road and get 4 tires?
Larry Mac, what wins Daytona 500s?
Normally, a lot of engine and a good handling car.
Exactly right, and 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on them.
All right, we saw DJ go all the way to the front and then fell way back. What is he kind of telling you about that piece?
Well, I think it's just a matter of the draft. You know what I'm saying? He got hung up there in the middle, and, you know, as you know, it just shoots you straight to the back. So you have to, you know, work your way to the back. He's told me he's going to be careful, not going to make any crazy moves. We got a pretty good little hot rod here for Sunday. So that's what we're here for, the Daytona 500. We'll keep working on old number 88, old Lonesome Dale, and try to get him up front.
All right, Todd, you and me are tied. There's only several million homes going to listen in on this. Are you going to show all you got today?
I hope so. He said, what do you want me to do? I said, well, we got to see what we got for the Daytona 500. We know that we're at a little bit of a drag disadvantage against the other mates. So, you know, we got to give it all we got right now and see what we have.
All right, good luck, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Here comes Jarrett.
Oh, yeah, like he doesn't have very much. Look at this. He's dropping down to the inside, pulling everybody right on up on the inside.
Leffler dropped down with him, following Spencer there. What happened to Brett Bodine, Steve?
Mike, we talked to crew chief Mike Hillman. They think it might be an ignition box problem. He said it acted like it ran out of gas. Let's go to Jeannie Zelasco.
Well, this is how Jeff Burton puts his game face on, watching some pretty good racing. And 7 cars did not pit, and you're screaming up here, you gotta pit, you gotta pit. Why?
Earnhart's showing right now why you need to pit. It's you can get tires on. That's better later in the race, much less, you know, speaking now. And then if people do pit later, you can put on 2, and they got to put on 4. So it puts you in position to do what you need to get done, and it doesn't hurt you because rules, you're not going to lose the draft. So if you put on tires, there's nothing to lose by doing it.
Trying to pick your brain, maybe get a little strategy from you coming up.
Well, I'm learning all I can, and I learned a long time ago. If you want to learn about restrictor plate racing, you watch a 3-car, and you do what he does, or you emulate it or simulate it the best you can.
And coincidentally, the 3 car is in the lead, so we'll let you keep watching.
I tell you right now, I think Jeff Burton was kind of, trying to get himself in position to be a crew chief, not just a driver. Seems like he's been paying attention to Frankie Stoddard, but just like in the budget shootout the other day, 4 tires will take you to the front at Daytona. You've got to handle. Harold and Larry have been emphasizing that all week long. You've got to handle here at Daytona, and 4 tires is the easiest way to make these cars work.
It is, and the crew, and Earnhardt's calling in the crew right now saying, good call, guys, good call. My car is right. It's like I like it. I'm in the lead. Adios.
He has Steve Park right behind him in a Chevrolet and Robbie Gordon in a Chevy. Moments ago, rookie Andy Houston got a taste of the concrete.
Yeah, he's kind of, what happens, he loses a little bit of air, and he slides it right into the fence. That's pretty close. You get real tight, close off that corner. I don't know if he hit it or not. Good job, though. He didn't lift. And he's still in there, and he's still going.
No damage to the side of that car, so very close. Earnhardt, the leader. Park in second. Here's the battle back at the bubble, where right now Sterling Marlin, in the upper right corner of your screen, number 40, he's the bubble car.
Just imagine this. Dale's leading. Michael's running in the second place. Park's running third place. I mean, is Earnhardt sharing the wealth or what?
Michael Waltrip to the lead.
Yeah, there would be people that say Earnhardt let him by. Trust me, he don't let anybody by. I don't care who it is.
Folks, you need a new set of speakers at home? Get ready to blow out the old set of speakers. Let's crank it up.
And strap that television down.
Like none other. Bob, go ahead.
And remember, that's a restricted sound.
Yes.
Wait till you hear 800 horsepower.
Earnhardt and Michael Waltrip battle for the lead. Look at Jerry Nadeau right behind Earnhardt, coming from last on the grid. And what's wrong with Bobby Labonte? He's now tail end Charlie.
Bet he didn't finish there. He'll be up there when it counts.
With Elliott way to the back.
He just, remember, not too long ago, Elliott was leading this race, and Dale shoved him up out of the line there, and he went backwards.
If he's going to go, it's halfway this time. 25 down, 25 to go. So with 24 cars still on the lead pack, not the lead lap, the lead pack, he needs to get going.
Dick Berggren.
Bill Elliott had a really long pit stop here on pit road. He came in running in second spot and went out absolutely dead last of all the cars that had pitted. He is also having some tire problems. Not sure that they're working to his satisfaction. To Matt.
And Dick, Ron Hornaday has made his way up just outside the top 5. He came on with a unique report. He said, guys, the draft, which I don't have a lot of experience in, is teaching me a lot, especially the fact that it's sucking me up so fast. I'm burning up my brakes because the car is sucking up the car in front so quickly. Steve.
Well, Matt, the 27, Kenny Wallace, he's got big problems. DW noted that he did not pit on lap 12 when everybody else did. He has developed a bad push in the front end of that car. Plus, he cannot see well through the windshield. Many cars, including the 24 of Jeff Gordon, complaining that the 40 car is leaking oil. So Kenny Wallace can't see, and he can't turn it.
Wallace is 37th on speed and 38th in owner point. He almost has to finish in the top 15.
And it doesn't surprise me. Bill Elliott fought hard to be in the lead, and he stayed there. But as soon as he got shook out of the lead, where did he go? He got out of harm's way. That car's on the pole. If he could stay up front, he would. But he's not going to jeopardize starting on the pole, I don't think.
So he and Bobby Labonte trail this field by about 8 car lengths. Right now, it's Joe Nemechek on the right side of your screen, that blue and white Chevrolet. And there's a look at Bobby Labonte and Bill Elliott. Matt?
The problem with Bobby Labonte, Mike, is he cannot see out of the windshield as well. He's also claiming the 40 car is leaking fluid. He radioed in. Jimmy, you've got to help me. I cannot see out the windshield. You're going to have to really help me with the spotter as well.
That 40 car, Sterling Marlin, is now 9th, and you see Johnny Benson is also falling to the back of this pack. How about Nadeau from the doghouse to 2nd place?
He's fighting hard. He said he had a good car, thought it'd draft up, and he was right. He's going to race his way right into the front of the field here for the 500.
And right with him, rookie Casey Atwood right behind him.
And I'm impressed. I mean, he's just kind of bided his time. He moved back a little bit. He got shuffled back. He's moved back forward. And I bet you Mr. Evernham on top's telling him basically where to be and what to do.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people driving that car, and Casey's listening. That's what he's supposed to do.
You're with Bill Elliott. Look at the glare off that windshield. Dick?
Bill Elliott does have problems. In fact, before they started this race, they pulled a little bit of tape off from in front of the radiator because of the increased temperature today. He has just radioed his crew, however, and said, I'm running 245 to 250. That's too much. He's overheating.
Well, it is a lot. The car won't perform quite as well at that temperature, but it'll continue to run all right.
And these teams, they try to run as much tape as they can on the nose of the car, because the more tape you've got on the front end, the less airflow that goes through it, the faster it'll run down the straightaway. But one thing they've been experiencing, Darrell, with these tires here, the problem is the tires wear, a lot of rubber goes up and clogs their grill up. So not only are you running a lot of tape, tire rubber's even blocking it up more.
Yeah, that's a big problem. And they have to get that off on a pit stop. Maybe they didn't do that on when they came in there at 12 laps.
Now you're riding with Michael Waltrip. He is just one spot away from being knocked out of this field. He's in 13th. Jeff Purvis has the transfer spot. He was leading just a little bit ago. There's Derek Cope, who is one spot away.
And Jeff Purvis and Derek Cope, they have to race their way into this Daytona 500. They have no points from last year, and their speeds are way down the chart, so they've got to stay there. And that crew chief said, you got to stay there, you got to stay there.
And that clock Darrell talked about is ticking ever faster. Brett Bodine is going to pull in. He's already one lap down, but his speed is fast enough that it should get him into the Daytona 500. He's 21st fastest overall. 20 laps to go in race 1. Then the second qualifier will roll onto the speedway. We'll be right back. You're watching the Gatorade 125s on Fox Sports Net. A 1,000 feet above the speedway. The Budweiser.com airship brings you these views of that front pack. Right now it's Jeff Purvis on the bubble. Earnhardt continues to lead. 17 laps to go.
Well, the thing with Earnhardt, when he gets in front, everybody helps him. They know it's this mythical thing about, if I help Earnhardt, I'll finish well. If I stay behind Earnhardt, I'll finish well. And it's going to be hard to get a challenge up to get around him, to get anybody in the lead other than him.
I tell you, Sterling Marlin, though, in that lead car in the bottom group, he's bringing a whole group with him, trying to get up there to him.
They're inching up a little bit on every turn. They're inching up a little bit.
Caution is on the speedway. One car is very low on the track apron at turn 3. That's Johnny Benson, who had drifted to the back of the pack and now is going to roll it off toward pit road. A lot of smoke down toward turn 1 as everybody woed up for that caution, and the pace car picks up the field. So in our Fox box, you see that little yellow jelly that denotes track condition, which right now is under caution.
Boy, that car's got a...
Oh, look at the right side.
It's got a lot of oil, I think, up the right side of it. Maybe, or is that, did he cut down? I can't really see. Get down here, guys. Is that oil on the side of that car, or is that tire rubber where he cut a tire down? Or did he get into something? I mean, give me a break. What did he do? It's all bent up.
That's a scrape. That's all scraped
up. Yeah. He's headed in the fence. With that paint job on there, it was hard to tell what had happened to it.
They're pulling the fender away just a bit. Try to get a little tire clearance. Benson, who came within 5 laps of winning the 500 last year, has put us under caution for the second time. Now, Johnny Benson's speed is 11th fastest, and his car owner points 13th. So he'll be in the Daytona 500, regardless of what happens here.
You know, it doesn't seem to be any major damage to the car. back underway. Should be able to rejoin the field at the back there and possibly pull himself back up.
All right, Larry, 16 laps to go. Pit road's open. What do you do?
I believe they're going to do what the black car does. If the black car comes on pit road, I believe they'll come with him. But if you're at the back of the pack, you might, here they come. I believe everybody's going to hit pit road. Some will get 2, some will get 4 here.
Purvis and Mike Purvis stays out. Only 2 cars stayed on the speedway.
See, Earnhardt showed what 4 tires would do on that first stop. So everybody's going to, they're not only going to do what he's going to do, he's going to come in.
Matt?
Dale Earnhardt already in his pit box. I asked Kevin Hamlin, any adjustments? No, just 4 tires. Let's go to Steve.
That's Sterling Marlin in. He's going to get 4 tires. No chassis adjustment to the number 40. 88 is down pit road. Left side tire going on for Sterling Marlin. And he goes right by Jeff Gordon on pit road.
Marlin will be the 4th car off pit road. The 2 cars that did not stop were Jeff Purvis, who had been running in the 14th and final transfer spot, and Derek Cope. They stayed on the racetrack. Everyone else pitted.
And that's 2 guys we just had mentioned it just a few laps ago. They have to race their way in. They're hoping this caution goes as long as possible, and they probably felt like they had better chances. The race for them is not winning the 125. It's finishing 15th or better, and they felt like their chances being at the front was probably greater to do that than if they come in the pits.
More work on Johnny Benson's car. Watch the top of your screen, and let's see what happened to Benson.
Well, he's back in there. There he is. Oh man, that was a big lick off of turn 2 there. I'm not so sure something didn't happen to the car.
Daryl, I just wonder if he maybe had a tire going down, because he had already fallen about 20 car lengths behind the pack, like he had really slowed down, and that's not the place you want a tire to let go.
Yeah, and I believe all that black stuff down the side of the car was the tire shredding apart as he tried to get back to the pit.
Johnny told me the car had been quite nervous in practice. He told me this morning. I said, well, where does it handle best? In front, behind, where? He says, in the garage.
Oh my goodness.
I like that term, nervous, DW.
Yeah, nervous. That's almost, is that like being twitchy?
15 laps to go. We'll have caution for at least another lap, it looks like.
Yeah, I think we're getting 1 to go this time. Oh, we're getting green this time.
Pace car's in. Green is out. We're back under green. Brett Bodine is a lap down. That's why he's lined up to the inside. Jeff Purvis and Derek Cope are gambling that not stopping for tires, that there's not enough time for 14 cars to pass them.
Look at Earnhardt.
Whoa!
Earnhardt squeezed between those. Knows he's got to go now. It's tight off there. Boys, that's a lot of cars in one spot. Holy cow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 wide.
5 wide. And Jeff Gordon knows he's got to get Dale Earnhardt now if he's got a chance to win this race.
Jeff Purvis managing the 51 car to get back between Dale and Sterling Marlin in the 40 car. Looked like Dale was going to pull Sterling with him, but Purvis said, you ain't taking all the spots away from me.
And look at Dale's buddy, Jerry Nadeau. He was pushing Dale early, but he's behind that 24 car now.
From Michael Waltrip, Jerry Nadeau just ahead.
Now that's a nervous car. See it back into that thing? Folks, that's not the camera wiggling around.
Purvis found a good spot. You'll see him come up here right behind Earnhardt. So his strategy may have paid off to hang in the top 14. Ken Squire.
Jerry Nadeau stays right up here fighting for the very top spot. The furthest anyone has ever come in this race to win was Bobby Isaac. He came from 18th position in 1974 to win it. And this guy has started dead last today, and he stays up here in the top of the heap.
Dale Earnhardt is not a happy camper right now. He is in the sucker hole.
Jeff?
One other thing I want to point out, too, also, talking to a lot of the drivers in the garage today, if they were looking for the ideal drafting partner, a lot of guys were commenting they love to have the Dodges behind them. So a lot of the guys right now are probably trying to get in position with these rookies, no matter if it's Jason Leffler or if it's with Sterling Marlin. If they're driving the Dodge, you'd like to have one behind you right here with about 15 laps to go.
See, I think what happened when Earnhardt got 4 tires that first time, he drove to the lead. And nobody else got 4 tires. Some of those guys, fell back. Now they've all got 4 tires, and they're going to town now, boys.
But Earnhardt's got rookie Andy Houston there to the inside. 5 leaders, 8 lead changes. Ken Squire was right at the top of the show. That's the most lead changes in a 125 qualifier since 1986. 2 brief cautions. 12 laps to go.
She's not over yet.
Earnhardt finally gets down in line there on the inside, but he isn't going to stay there. He wants up there with that 88 car and Dale Jarrett.
Steve Park underneath Derek Cope. Nemechek in the transfer spot. 33 just ahead of them.
Well, we've seen it time and time again. When you're in the lead, everything's going good. But when you start falling back, how far back do you go? Bill Elliott was leading. He went from the front all the way to the rear of this pack.
Boy, the rookies have been impressive. Casey Atwood, that red 19, the red, yellow, and black 96 of Andy Houston. They've been able to stay right up there.
And they have been pushed around, too. I mean, it's not like that they've been on the cakewalk. They've been shoved around, beat on, and they're holding their own.
10 laps to go.
Do y'all get, Larry, you okay?
I'm on to just grab the monitor. Well, you keep hearing us talk about 3 wide, and the racetrack is wide enough for 3, maybe even 4 cars as far as the width of the cars, but these cars bounce and jump around so much, if one car gets out of shape, you take a chance of taking half the field out with you.
Yeah, and I thought they had a little deal about not going below the yellow line. I thought that was something NASCAR had initiated.
There's the last transfer spot. Right now, Roy Buckshot Jones in the Petties, number 44, is in the final spot that will automatically transfer to the 500. Everyone else behind him has to fall back on time trial speeds or car owner points to make the show. We won't have the full lineup until after race 2.
And we're not going to know who's going to make this race until they come across this start-finish line for the checkered flag, because it can change that quickly.
Boy, Casey Atwood got shuffled. He's in the middle, and he's backing up.
See, one of the things that happens to you get kind of comfortable. You get to running up there, and you got everything going your way, and you say, everything's in good shape. I'm all right. I'm going to finish up in the top 10, 5. All of a sudden, somebody shoves you out of the way, and you're going dead backwards.
Atwood is falling back. There he is, falling back into the clutches of Jason Leffler. Now second place.
Whoa, you see Robbie Gordon in the 4 car get real sideways, but he knows it's 9 to go. It's 8 to go. You can't back out now.
Earnhardt just about took the nose off Marlin's car as he cut across.
Uh-oh, Gordon put a move on him, but that wasn't the right move, because they had a head of steam.
Jimmy Spencer below the yellow line, almost in the grass, making it 5 wide, the 26 car going into 1.
Dale Earnhardt, Michael Waltrip, Andy Houston, Ron Hornaday, Jimmy Spencer, and Joe Nemechek in that low lane.
Hey, the corner old phrase that a friend of mine sitting beside me once said, hold the phone, here comes Earnhardt. I'm telling you, he's doing the same thing he did at Talladega. He goes back there, lets those tires build a little bit of pressure up, and he comes driving right back to the front. I don't think it's more than just air pressure building up on that car, and all of a sudden he gets the handle back, and he comes back to the front.
Well, he's definitely in front, and he's going to be hard to pass, because that cat behind him, he stays right there and pushes him across the line first. He might get a little bonus from his car owner.
Earnhardt, a 12-time winner of 125 miler.
Well, these races are made for him. These little shootouts like this, it's like Saturday night to him. It's like a little pickup game somewhere.
Yeah, but it's not over. 7 laps to go.
Look at our boy Ron Hornaday there in the green 14 car. He's done worked his way to 4th. He's just kind of quietly worked his way through there. He's getting shuffled to the outside now by Sterling Marlin in the silver car, though.
It's unfortunate that Michael has to be following Dale. Why? Because I believe Michael can win this race, but I don't know if he'll pass his boss or not.
Well, I believe he will.
You think he will?
And I think he'll try.
Earnhardt said so in pre-race. He said that 15 was fast.
Well, we'll know here in 5 laps, boys.
4 wide, 4 abreast.
Earnhardt would be very disappointed in him if he didn't try.
Will be if he won it and they'll run second. He's going to be mad at him if anything worse than that happens.
55, Bobby Hamilton right now on the bubble. He's somewhere in the midst of that pack. There he is in the outside lane. Marlin keeps trying for a run down the bottom. This time he got a little bit of help from Leffler and Andy Houston, and Marlin may have touched.
Well, they've been banging around back in there, I can tell you that.
Guys, something we haven't touched on with the 01 car, Jason Leffler. This is his first Winston Cup start today.
Man, look at Jeff Gordon. He came off of that corner. He had a head of steam. He drove to the bottom of the racetrack. What a move.
A planned move, Darrell, because Jerry
And he's
Nadeau,
still going. He's going about, he's going to pass them all.
he's got Nadeau with him, and those two Hendrick cars can share a radio frequency and share strategy. And when Gordon went from top to bottom, Nadeau was with him every step of the way.
And you can believe one thing. Jeff Gordon does not want Dale Earnhardt to win another 125 qualifier. That thing that's a hot rod right there, boys.
Off the pace, number 4, Robbie Gordon, just dropped to the track apron.
I think he finally beat the sides in on, had to quit.
And Johnny Benson also off the pace.
Oh,
trouble!
Here we
Hornaday!
go. Hornaday. Oh,
that's Dale Jarrett with him in the white and brown car.
And Dale's trying everything he can to not hit him.
Caution is out. Neither car hit the wall. But we go yellow at 46 laps.
Both cars got a lot of damage on those front fenders.
Did Jeff Gordon beat Earnhardt back to the line? I was watching the wreck. I didn't see it, but he's in front of him.
Don't think so. Dick Berggren.
Dale Jarrett is in the pits. He has at least a left front tire that's flat down, and Brad Parrott has just pointed to the garage and said, "Park it, guys." They're not even trying to fix it. Engine's off. Mike?
Thanks, Dick. Ron Hornaday telling his crew he's not exactly sure what happened on the two-way radio. Doesn't know. He thought somebody got into him, but he wasn't sure who. Let's find out.
Well, here we are. He's in the middle and about the worst place you can be. And the 25 car gets him. Oh, he just gets the back end around on it. I think he was trying to keep it cut down under with the 25, and he got a little too much steering angle in it.
And Jarrett got turned into it by the car behind.
Yeah, he saw it happening, but he couldn't stop.
From the Budweiser.com airship.
Oh, this is a great view right here. See, he gets Ron. 25 moves up just enough that it gets Ron sideways, and Jarrett had nowhere to go.
And Buckshot Jones couldn't lift. He got in the back of Jarrett and turned Jarrett around.
Well, normally these drivers, they give each other hand signals, but there wasn't no time for Dale Jarrett to give Buckshot a hand signal there. He was slowing down.
This is chain reaction right here. Dale's all over him, and Buckshot just pushes Dale around.
I tell you who had almost gathered also was Jimmy Spencer, who was in the outside line. He moved up as far. There was no more racetrack up there.
Hornaday 32nd on speed, 35th in points.
That is the most dreaded sound in racing right there.
Just wait for it to stop.
Riding with Dale Jarrett.
He sees it. His first instinct was to stay in the throttle and drive through it. But Buckshot got into the back of it.
So Ron Hornaday may have to sit out the Daytona 500. Dale Jarrett's third fastest time trial speed will definitely get him into the race. Here's how they're running as we'll come around to complete lap 48 under caution next time by. Remember, 14 is the transfer spot. That's where Joe Nemechek sits right now. We'll be right back. 3 days to the Daytona 500 on Fox. Our first qualifier drawing to a close. They will race one lap to decide this.
Watch this move that Jeff Gordon puts on everybody to get into second place and maybe in a position to win this race. Well, we're going to go green. We'll look at it a little bit later. This is a lot more important than that move was.
Look how slow Earnhardt is bringing them down. He's coasting into the tri-oval. Now the green is in the wind, and he takes off.
Well, there's a method to his madness. We saw Ricky Hendrick lose the ARCA race here the other day. If you've got an open gear in these cars, you're only pulling with the right rear tire. And if you really stab that throttle, you can break the thing loose, and the car won't go. But I don't know if that was a really good move, because they're going to get a run on him up the back straightaway.
Marlin goes to third. Unsponsored Kenny Wallace in 10th. He's in the show. Look at Jason Leffler right there drafting off of Nadeau.
They have left Brother Michael out to dry there, DW.
Afraid so, and I think Earnhardt's a setting duck, boys.
Here they come on the inside. Earnhardt comes down to block.
Too late. He had that jump start he got didn't work out. That's an old Indian trick, but it didn't work out today.
That's an awfully big lead for Sterling to have in turn 4 there. They could get a run on him.
No, I think he can hold him off from there. He can block him enough from there.
3 wide, 4 back. Felix Abadi's on his feet. They are 4 wide coming to the line. Wow. And I think Buckshot Jones may have grabbed that last transfer spot as Sterling Marlin wins it.
What a run. Great job. I tell you, Earnhardt out-tricked himself that time.
Buckshot Jones, 14th across the line. He makes it. Mike Wallace makes it. Steve Park in 12th. Kenny Wallace in 11th. And the rookies making the 500 will include Casey Atwood and Jason Leffler and Andy Houston.
You want to see that 26 car came in, moved up to 5th place. He passed 10 cars on the apron. He was down on the apron coming to the line.
Only the 5th time since a driver has led just the last lap. The first time it's happened since 1985.
Look at Felix.
Chip Ganassi and Felix Abadi's on that team.
And Chip Ganassi, that man has magic. Wherever Chip Ganassi goes.
Look at this rush to the line.
Earnhardt doesn't know what to do. He's got Gordon on one side, and here comes this crowd down the other side here. He said, well, got to go to the left, or to the left here and move these guys out of the way. And that did it.
Jerry Nadeau really gives Sterling the boost up off of turn 3 that got him down there and past Dale Earnhardt.
He really did. So Dodge wins a race, guys.
Sterling Marlin will go to victory lane. Jerry Nadeau 2nd. Earnhardt is 3rd. Andy Houston, the rookie. Jimmy Spencer fought his way to 5th. Jeff Gordon, Jason Leffler, Purvis, Walter, Atwood. They're in the big show. We'll be right back. He led 1 lap, the last lap, the money lap. Sterling Marlin will start 3rd in the Daytona 500. Dick Berggren.
The 3rd time he wins a 125-miler here. So many guys tried. You got it done. How'd you do it?
I must have made some friends last lap. I tell you, we had an awful good car. The boys on the Coors Light team done a great job, and Chip and Felix has got us a great bunch of guys. Keep setting up by Early and Tony and Soda Bob on the motors, and Dodge and everybody, and it all come together, and we're going to have a good year this year. It's car drove really good, and everybody got to run the high side, and I got on the bottom when nobody go with me, and finally Michael pulled down. We got to easing up, but last lap day was just a shootout, and Earnhardt and him got too far out, and I had a good run at him and got by him.
Let's go to Earnhardt and see how things were there. Attaboy.
And Dick, Dale Earnhardt walking back, and the people here, a lot of people talking about that last lap restart. Hey, Dale, what was the strategy on the restart?
I was a sitting duck. I'm the duck and there's the hunters, and I just, you know, restricted plate racing, that's the last lap kind of thing, and you just do the best you can with it.
What did you say to Gordon when he pulled in?
I was wishing he had stayed with me and we'd have restarted together and tried to go, you know.
Let's show you. There are the 2 of them. Gordon and Earnhardt talking about it.
Yeah, they've been racing each other.
Well, you know, I saw him hanging way back like that, and I was like, I'm not going to let that happen.
I was waiting, I got that line. I said, man, I got to
Well, I started looking in my mirror. I was like, what am I going to do, you know? Hey, I would love to come home second, trust me.
Here's how it happened. Dale Earnhardt Jr. brought them down very, very slow and then took off and got a jump.
Yeah, I think what happened here is that Dale brought him down so slow that I'm not so sure that Gordon didn't have a strategy about letting him jump and then getting a run on him, because he knew when he got to the back straightaway, here's Sterling making a great move around Michael.
He took a chance right there in moving to the high side, not knowing if anybody would help him or not.
Sterling really had up a lot of momentum, though. He swung by Michael. He ran the high line off of turn 2, dropped to the inside. And, buddy, here he comes boogity-boogity with some help from the 25 car. That's just like, it's like running down a hill. When you come off of that corner right there and drop it to the inside, you have that luxury. then you pick up a lot of momentum. And, of course, he didn't help his buddy out too much, 25 car. Look at him. He said, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win.
There you see Chip Ganassi right there. Felix Sabatos on the left.
Look at this crowd coming for the transfer spot in white and blue. Buckshot Jones is going to get there.
Watch these cats start going everywhere. Jimmy Spencer goes on the apron.
Mike Wallace on the outside moving up. And Steve Park.
And look where Gordon ended up after restarting second.
Ended up finishing 6th.
So here's the order of finish in the first Gatorade 125. Marlin the winner, Nadeau for second, Earnhardt third. Rookie Andy Houston, Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Gordon back to 6th. Rookie Jason Leffler, Jeff Purvis, Michael Waltrip, rookie Casey Atwood. 14th, Buckshot Jones. Now from Rick Mast on back, these drivers will have to hope that either their time trial speed or car owner points will put them into the 500, except of course Bill Elliott, who's already won the pole. We'll see how all that sorts out and look ahead to race 2 in a moment.